Gentlemen, Adam Green here with No More News. Thank you all for joining me today, Thursday, October 30th, 2025. Halloween Eve show with a return guest that's been on many times over the years. Back on to discuss everything that's been happening. It's been a little while. He's blown up since the last time we talked. I'm pretty sure his Twitter has maybe tripled in size up to 300,000. Been in this game a long time. We've been doing shows for like almost 10 years now. He's been at it a lot longer than that. Documentary filmmaker and geopolitical commentator back on the show. Good to have him. What's up? Ryan Dawson, bro. What's going on?
It's weird when you say that you and I have been doing interviews for a decade. It doesn't seem like it. It has been, but it doesn't seem like it's been that long.
Yeah,
I'm stuck at 306 for the whole month. You notice over on Twitter, and a lot of people will tell you this, with accounts bigger than mine, everybody got nerfed. Everyone got nerfed.
I did too. Mine's been flatlined. That's why I've been trying to expand more and get back on. I started a new TikTok and like started posting on Instagram a little bit. And it's a lot of viral stuff, but a lot of really kooky disinfo and, Christian stuff over there is all you'll see. So it's been rough.
That's the box they want. Like it's like they don't get it. They're like, oh man, we're normalizing these like, weirdo race realists and stuff. I go, yeah. That's what they want. This is why you often find a rabbi spray painting a swastika on his own door and then calling the police. Like that's the type of opposition they want. When you're not anti-Semitic, they'll just say it anyway. So if they can find someone that fits the bill, they'll amplify it. So you get your Richard Spencers, your Nick Fuenteses, your some kook like that to fill that role of the boogeyman. That's one side. And then you got your sensationalist weirdos that think Macron's wife is a man, think the earth is flat, change their Charlie Kirk conspiracy every 3 days, and that's the level of political discourse. And it's just like, I don't know. I just finished the 9/11 film, and I'm starting to think it doesn't matter. If you want clickbait and success, you just lean into the retardation. That's all you'd have to do. And I can't do that.
So I noticed you've been it seems like you've been streaming a whole lot less because I used to tune in quite a bit. And I know you just released your big magnum opus documentary that I remember watching many years ago about 9/11, Empire Unmasked. Tell us about, you did a re-release of that, or you redid it?
Yeah, well, we got some new info and really it just needed to be upgraded production wise, like visually. Because I made that thing by myself on Windows Movie Maker the first time. So
what year did the first one come out?
I think it was 2011. I don't know.
So almost 15 years. That sounds about right.
Yeah, something like that. And then it got kicked around because we had it on Vimeo, and I got banned on Vimeo, and I had a hard time finding a place to put it. It was banned on YouTube. Knew I couldn't put it on there. You can't even put a trailer for it on there. And they really have a monopoly. Like if you don't have a YouTube, you're kind of invisible. So, yeah, this one's free. It's on Substack. I'm going to put it on Rumble, Twitter, and BitChute later. But some 4 hours instead of 5. I didn't need to push to get the 28 pages unredacted because I got them unredacted. And all that stuff on the Iraq War, I felt like is pretty well known now that they lied about WMD, so it wasn't necessary. So I cut all that. But then we added a lot on the Saudi role on 9/11, added a lot on the DEA groups or art students. And yeah, it's about 3 hours of that 4 hours is on the Israeli role, about an hour on the Saudi role, and a mixture of America complicity throughout. But, the Alex Jones types, all they want to do is scream about Building 7 and nanothermite and whatever.
Can I watch it? Can I do a live stream? I'll do a live stream and watch it next 9/11.
Nice. Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, I'm going to put the whole thing up like in November, I think.
So,
I don't think it'll make the difference, though. I think like it's a film for smart people, so it's a dying minority.
I
You
feel
know?
you. I feel that. Uh, so you've had some eye problems as well. Have you has that improved, or what's going on with the eye
Yeah,
situation?
it's up and down. So I have wet macular degeneration, which is it's actually behind the eye, but it's pushing on the eye and leaks blood into your eye. So it makes your straight lines curved like a rainbow, and it makes things blurry. And so I get these anti-VEGF shots in my eyes, real fun. They stick a needle in your eye and they squirt this like brown orange stuff in there, and it shrinks the circumference of the veins that are pushing on the back of the eye. So you can't cut them out and you can't like stem cell them because you don't want to grow more. You want less. That's the problem.
You have veins that are growing in the back of your eye and pushing
Yeah, it's
on
like
your eye. Is that
behind
what you
the
said?
eye. Yeah, you got one that's like pushing on it, and it can go if it gets through the eye, you have no vision. It's gone.
What makes the
So
veins do that? They're like clogging or just expanding or something?
no one knows. It's
No one knows.
it could also be the eye started moving backward or gets elongated and pushes on the
Does it
vein. It
hurt?
might be the other way around, or could be a bit of both. Usually people don't get this unless they're like 80 years old. Usually it's women and usually it's smokers. I'm in none of the categories and I have it anyway. Lucky me. I have a twin brother who doesn't have it. Same DNA. He doesn't have any eye problems.
Mhm.
I would guess it's just bad luck and severe lack of sleep from getting canceled and everything and working two jobs most of my life. It adds up. You start getting health problems,
You think
but
like
you can mitigate it.
oh, is that what's going on? You can mitigate it. Does it hurt or does it just mess up your vision?
It doesn't hurt. It just you can't see,
Yeah.
which psychologically it's like fuck. What if it goes in my other eye? And it makes it very hard to read. You get double vision. It's the worst at night when at night most things are dark and then suddenly there's a neon sign or suddenly there's a car headlight or something and it cannot adjust. So I can't drive at night at all. Um, that sucks. For a while there, I had to wear shades everywhere, but um, part of the treatment, what they do is they have to hit you with this fluorescent dye, which makes your other eye unable to see too, because everything becomes ultra bright, but it lights up the grid so they can go in and see everything behind you. So you're blind for a couple of days, which sucks, man. Being blind is like a real handicap, especially if you've had vision your whole life. Uh, but it's worth it because it slowly starts to allow you to have normal vision in the bad eye. But then about 80 to 90 days later, you got to go get another one. So, and that's for the rest of your life.
Is that painful? The needle in the eye shooting in the what did they shoot in again? You said
It's called anti-VEGF, VEGF. What it does is it shrinks the veins or whatever.
okay.
It's
So
like
like a
an anti-virus that
anti-inflammatory
goes in
or
your eye. I don't know. It shrinks your veins. I can tell when it's coming too because I'll be looking at straight lines and they bend upwards for some reason. In mine, some people might have it bend downward, and people's faces shrink in, so everyone looks like a monster. Sucks.
so has your streaming less because of this now that you have the documentary done, or you're
It
not
was a
able to research
combination of
and read
things. Like
books? Yeah.
I wanted less. Yeah, I can read on paper way easier than screens.
Hmm.
So I don't really look directly at screens or lights. And I was working on a movie. Most of my work on the movie was writing and audio, so I didn't have to look at it that much. And also like it doesn't really matter for me on Rumble. They pay you through PayPal. I'm banned on PayPal, so I can't get paid. I was only
Mm.
streaming just to like stick it to the Zionist, and it's just man, I don't have to anymore. Everyone knows how the whole world's turned on Israel now. So I was like, how many dead kids does it take to wake up the masses? Well, apparently a couple 100,000, but yeah, they're on
Are
it.
you not able to have Rumble send you a check? Like, because I don't have PayPal either.
They used to. They
Yeah.
used to do that, right?
Hmm.
You don't have to send it to Korea. You can send it to this bank on the Native American reservations. The only thing I'm allowed on. Um, and they're like, yeah, 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 and then they just don't. And I'll get hold of Chris for a minute, and then he'll say he's going to talk to the other people, and then he just ghosts me for a long time. And it's like only when I complain publicly on Twitter can I get their attention. And I hate having to do that. Like, can't we just like talk on DM without me like telling the world what you guys are? I'm not the only person on Rumble that's banned on PayPal. I can't be.
Lots of us are. Yeah,
on Rumble. Like when
yeah,
you get banned on
absolutely.
YouTube, you're also banned on PayPal. Like PayPal will ban you almost as fast as Facebook.
Did you watch any of the Tucker 9/11 documentary?
Oh, it's absolute shit.
Really? Did you watch the whole thing?
I couldn't. Like when they started promoting Richard Gage stuff, I was like, okay, I thought so.
I haven't seen any of it.
It's bad. I had a lot of hope because Tucker's kind of come around the last couple of years. I was like, yeah, man, he had on like some good guests. He had on Jeffrey Sachs, who's just like Israel's been dominating U.S. policy for the last 30 years. Like, all right, he had some stellar guests there in the beginning. Thomas Massey. He had on Andrew Tate. He had on like a lot of anti-war voices or people who've been truly canceled and stuff. I was like, here we go. Then he had some dude on talking about guardian angels. He had, semi-flat earther Candace Owens and race realists who wants a Catholic monarchy, Fuentes. I'm like, well, what happened to Tucker? Like he had A-list guests at first.
He got attacked by the demon.
He went
full
Putin,
Jesus,
which is like, regardless, the highest level. I mean, that's the head of a country, that. And then he's talking to just weirdos. And I thought, why? You have money, you have fame. What are you doing? I think he just has no filter. So whatever. I mean, he talked to Daryl Cooper about Epstein. That was great. I think he should have talked to me about Epstein, and Cooper talked to me about Epstein, but
or maybe about 9/11. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
he's doing a doc on 9/11, but isn't going to talk to you. And it's like everybody knows you've been one of the first ones focusing on 9/11.
Yeah, he's not going to talk to me about 9/11. There's something. He's not going to talk to me about at all about anything. Trust me. Like even though people I know who know him who did talk to him about those subjects to say you need to talk to Ryan about Epstein, you need to talk to Ryan about September 11th. He ain't gonna do it, man. And for a while I thought, well, I have a stigma, whatever. But after he talked to Fuentes, I'm like, well, that excuse is gone because he's just as banned as I am. So it's not that stigma. The Mr. Admirer of Stalin. Stalin is not base or cool. Like that's disgusting.
Yeah, he's asking for controversy with a statement like that. So where are you at with the Trump?
Got bullied so bad by Groypers that he caved in.
Yeah. And Alex Jones said it.
Like been on Fox where you don't have to deal with the public, whatever. Mm-hmm. And so they probably just hounded him until they got their way. It's whatever. It's a good strategy. A lot of these people will cave.
So, yeah, speaking of caving, Trump on Epstein. Can you believe the Epstein cover-up?
Man, with the day Charlie Kirk got shot is the day the Senate voted 51-49 not to release the files. That should be midterm suicide right there. That
everybody's forgot about it already.
Both parties, but but I would point this out. I think the Democrats knew that the Republicans would have to block it. Because if they really wanted them released, why didn't they bring it up when Biden was president? I mean, they didn't even talk about it for 4 years.
Right.
Neither side can let that list out.
Yeah, that was a political stunt just to force the Republicans to block it.
Right.
But can you believe
it?
Blocked
it too.
Isn't the cover-up even more crazier than you imagine? Like with Bondi saying, "Oh, we got the tapes and desk full of the records and And then they say nothing. There's no list. Nothing happened. Yeah.
It's on my desk. Where's my desk? Like,
And how about the craziest part was how Trump on day one, when the government announced that like the investigation's over and they're not, charging anybody, it's done with. And Trump was like scolding the media for asking him about it. He's like, "You're
yeah.
still talking about that?"
Oh, that
Yeah.
old thing.
Yeah. It's literally the first day after he campaigned on promising on releasing and like, his get taking out the deep state, pedophile
Well, it's
cabal.
weird why they even made the promises. I mean, they could have just not talked about it like Biden, because he did the same thing with JFK, RFK, and MLK. Like the FBI killed MLK, and they just never. The one they talked about the least is Martin Luther King, and then they didn't really talk about Robert Kennedy either. JFK, they released some stuff we already had, and a little bit on Angleton that most of us like researchers already knew. And and then with Epstein, it was like, no, they're all they're all trafficked to him and Maxwell alone, and nobody else. Even though Burnell was arrested
Mhm.
for it, and Staley's admitted it, and then Andrews got sued over it. No, no, they're all trafficked to only them. And that's just not true. I mean, we have an ongoing Stacey Plaskett case out of the Virgin Islands mentioning clients for the purpose of commercial sex trafficking. Now, you if you say human trafficker, a different name comes in people's minds. And I'm like, just out of Palm Beach alone, there are so many actual human traffickers. Did you see Virginia's book? Have you had a chance to read it? It came
I
out
was
like
going to ask you about her.
20th.
Didn't it say something about Ehud Barak, right?
Well, it says the prime minister, but everybody knows which one that is.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Yeah.
it's a Barack, and he was, he worked with Peter Thiel and the rest of these Coopers. Right in the middle of that white map behind me that's been out for like 8 years, I have Barack and Thiel and the whole thing. And I even, used to have a video where I sat there and explained that whole map. It's on like Odysee or something, because at the time there was nowhere to go.
Mhm.
So yeah, I
We
should
got
probably
demonetized on Odysee too. They took away, they banned Stripe from the whole platform, and I lost my main source of income. It came out that Epstein had invested $40 million into Palantir with Peter Thiel, right? And I was going to ask you. Oh, also, what do you think the situation is
Hammer
with?
40 carbine too.
Right, that isn't that a Ehud
5
Barak thing,
million.
Carbine, right?
It is, yeah.
Uh, Ghislaine, what's the situation with Ghislaine? She's talking to the government. She's maybe getting a pardon. What do you think's going on with her? They're going to let
Man,
her
I
out as long as she exonerates Trump?
I kind of hope they do give her a pardon, because that would be political suicide. You know, like they already moved her to. I don't really want her to get a pardon, but they moved her to a more comfortable jail, which was absolutely a bribe. And then they interview her, and she's like, "Oh yeah, Trump's great, but I never saw any trafficking. All these girls are a bunch of lying whores or whatever." It's like, lady, you were living with teenagers that you brought around with you around the world. There's no doubt about it. And you're pictured with Burnell, who was convicted of sex trafficking. He died in prison too, by the way. you know 60 Minutes did his big piece on Jean-Luc Burnell. You just with all the wrong people, and you've got them visiting Epstein when he was in jail. We have your internal communications where you're talking about pimping girls out. You have you're meaning her and Epstein. You have your own employees telling on you. So it's not just the girls, because I understand women lie, absolutely. And especially when something's famous, especially when people are very wealthy, some woman that ever knew them at all is going to say, yeah, yeah, he raped me. So you can't only use that data point, unfortunately, because she might be telling the truth. So you have to corroborate that with other things, which is what I did. If they're saying that, and then you look at the pilot and the driver and the bodyguard and like his own employees, like knew these women, knew they lived there, knew when who was at what hotel and stuff, then you start putting the puzzle together.
I haven't seen his arguments, but I know I've seen James Tracy has been like going against the
It's
Epstein
Michael
victims.
Tracy, isn't it?
Oh,
Is his
James
name?
Tracy. Yeah, Michael Tracy. Sorry, you're right.
Yeah.
Don't know why I said that.
Yeah, like I think this is going to be like an unpopular take, but I think someone ought to do that. Like someone ought to question everything every girl said, because they're, you know, they can lie, and they do, or they exaggerate. Like some of it's true, some of it ain't. And there are some weirdos, and these are the exact ones that got on Alex Jones. They're like, I saw him turn into a lizard and stuff like that. You get two or three girls like that, it doesn't reverse the testimony of like over 100 people, uh, over 200 if you look at the JP Morgan lawsuit. Like, why do you even know this many teenage girls? Like, what else the fuck were you doing with these people? Like, yes, you were having sex with them. So the question is like, how were you trafficking them to your friends? And there is evidence of that. But what Tracy will do is he'll zero in on some of these girls who have fabricated stuff and then try to throw the baby out with the bathwater. But I do think it is a good exercise to find the liars, because they discredit the rest of them. And there are
He's generally pretty good. Like I've liked some stuff from Michael Tracy, so I was just interested
on Space. And I was like, I don't disagree with this and this, but like you're not addressing the things that I say. Like I have also called out the liars. I've also called out the ones that are just have really ridiculous stories, you know. But
did you see the clip
even,
of
even Alan Dershowitz, who's changed his story like 4 times? You know, first he kept his underwear on and he had a massage in the house. Then it was just a neck and shoulder massage with all his clothes on. Then he was very clever. He's like, I never got a massage in that house in Palm Beach. Like, yeah, because the accusation isn't about Palm Beach, it's about Ohio. So he can truthfully say, because maybe he didn't get one in Florida, right? He can say, I was there with my wife and all. Like, that's not the incident anyone's talking about. And you'll see this too. A lot of politicians and donor class people will say, well, I never went to that island. First of all, there's 2 islands. And secondly, so what? Most of the hanky panky did not occur on the island. It happened in hotels. You'd have to be this like Whitney Webb thing where they're like, oh, they had cameras in the house and they had filming everything. Like, that's dumb. That's totally unusable. If you film someone having sex in your own house, you just incriminated yourself, because you have to explain why some little kid and some guy are in your house, in your bedroom, having sex. It's totally unusable. They would do, and you can see this from the victims will tell you, although Epstein and Maxwell had fucked them in their house, whatever, but when they were farmed out, it would usually be in a hotel. It would be in some neutral territory. And that's just Mafia 101. Like, you never commit crime in your own house, and you sure as fuck don't film it. You don't film yourself breaking the law. And a lot of it was not blackmail. It was more like rewards, kind of like a perk for doing business with them. And also, you can never do business with anyone else because I have this on you, just in case.
I just realized, I think I set up.
Zionist.
Sorry, Ryan. I don't know if you saw the thing pop up there that the Zoom's going to end. I have a paid Zoom, but I think I signed in with the wrong account. So we're going to have to end this in a minute, and I'll send you a new link. I apologize for that. But
oh, well, you know, that's what happens when it's like a one-man crew. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I apparently have 2 accounts, and I signed in with the wrong one.
I'm just gonna keep talking.
Yeah, we got another 10 minutes, and I'll run a commercial video or something while we get another connect and go a few more minutes. I saw a clip of
cameras in his house. He actually had the police install it for him. He said he claimed something had been stolen, and I don't know if he made that up or if something had been stolen. But he had them put in secret cameras inside like clocks and fire detectors and stuff. And so they rigged it up for him in a little operation room. And much of that wasn't about theft. It's like he liked to watch himself again doing what he did to the girls. But usually, and any guy like knows not to bang a woman in someone else's house. Like, first thing you do is look for cameras. So
yeah, someone like Epstein.
He did the same thing as Kushner. He would outfit it inside hotels, and they would do it there. Sometimes it wasn't filmed. It was just like they would get them to talk about it on communications. So they'd have that email or whatever. And so they've already got them admitting it. So you don't need to film it. And some of that's really coming back to bite them in the ass. Like Prince Andrew, for example, got an email from 2011, which is after he supposedly cut off his relationship with Epstein because he had been arrested and jailed and everything, saying we're in this together, da 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 da. So he's cooked. He's going to lose his titles. He's going to get kicked out of his Windsor place. He ought to be in prison, but that's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. He did have to pay $16 million, which means Charles had to pay $16 million. And it all came down to that photograph in Maxwell's house with Virginia Roberts and Prince Andrew right before they had a bath together. It's very hard to explain what she's doing there. Why is this kid in her house with you and knows a prince? Like, she didn't know you. Maxwell knew you. And she's bringing this girl to meet you all the way from America. Why? What's so special about this girl? She like really into British royalty? Come on. Like, they trafficked her, but she was one that was so loyal that they let her have one of those little disposable cameras. And that did him in. Think of it. Without that picture, they would just been her word versus theirs.
He would have got away with it for sure without that picture.
Yeah, I think so. Like,
let me ask you about Lutnick. I saw a clip of Lutnick where he was like, Epstein was the greatest blackmailer ever, and he had video cameras, and he was, blackmailing people. And then the official story, the government tells us he wasn't blackmailing anybody. He was just a pervert himself. Isn't that kind of wild? And wasn't he the next door neighbor too, Lutnick?
He does live very near the rape mansion in New York.
Mm-hmm. Is it not exactly next door? That's just a little
right next door is actually a Mark Epstein property, Epstein's brother's property, mm-hmm. where they would house a lot of the girls, and then next to that is Lutnick. Yeah, so he's still next to Epstein, just the other Epstein. Mark Epstein's a real estate agent. He didn't live there. It's just one of his buildings, mm-hmm. And Jeffrey would house. Usually he put like the Czechs and Ukrainians and stuff in this house, and Jean-Luc Brunel used the same place. It's like 5 stories for MC Squared models. Of course, a branch of his modeling agency was absolutely human trafficking. He's dead, and he was guilty. Somebody was murdered in that house too. A male model was killed, and it's pretty sus. I never got to the bottom of it.
What do you think about Trump's bombing of Iran? Just like your
way,
general overall thoughts on it.
Started in Tel Aviv. It's called Karen Models first. They switched the name.
Which billionaire owned that one?
MC Squared Modeling Agency.
MC Squared.
Jean-Luc Brunel. Started in Tel Aviv. Yeah. Then it went to Paris. Then it went to New York and Miami. And then it went to Kiev, Ukraine. That's where they got a lot of women out of Ukraine and Romania and stuff. They would promise them, the world, and then they just take their passport away and say, suck a dick or else.
Well, the world knows Ukraine's got some beautiful women, so.
Romania too. I mean, Eastern Europe is probably prime territory for European women, at least.
Let's just we got 4 minutes. I don't want it to interrupt in the middle before we switch gears, but I want to get your thoughts on the Trump-Iran bombing and that whole situation, and then I got a few other general topics I want to pick your brain on. But let me go to a video, and I'll shut this down and switch logins and send you another link, and we'll get this back up.
Before Iran, right? Let's get that one. It's not about the run out of time.
What?
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll send you the link. I'll be right back. Sorry about this.
Okay.
All right. Later. All right. We're going to play this video.
Jewish movement. He is the savior of the world because he's Israel's Messiah. If he failed to be Israel's Messiah, he could not be the savior of the world. Is it just too Jewish for people? Does it make them uncomfortable because it underscores the Jewish roots of the faith? Or that if they ran into Jesus in the first century, he would have looked more like a traditional Jew than like a Catholic priest or a Protestant pastor? It shouldn't trouble you. It's just historical reality. That's how God brought salvation. John 4:22. Jesus said salvation was from the Jews.
What Paul is asking of his ethne in Christ is a form of Judaizing. If by Judaizing we use what the ancient term means, which is somebody who's not a Jew, who's starting to do some Jewish things. And the Jewish things that Paul is insisting that his listeners do is worship only the God of Israel. That's a very Jewish thing. No idols. He's Judaizing his Gentiles. I think they become eschatological Gentiles, the type of Gentiles who are available as narrative characters in Isaiah. And those passages of they're Gentiles who have or the Gentiles you see in Tobit who smash their idols and turn to God. Christianity as a separate thing from Judaism isn't something Paul never knew.
But Paul himself, despite the rhetoric of Galatians, is Judaizing these Gentiles. He's teaching them a kind of Judaism light. How do we know this? He's talking about the Messiah, and he's talking about exclusive allegiance to the God of Israel. That's Jewishness. And it's Paul who's beginning to create a new population, but it's a population that was anticipated in the classical prophets and in all those Jewish apocalyptic writings we have between -200 and +200. Tobit, the Sibylline oracles, where you have the nations who are pagan, smashing their idols and turning to worship the God of Israel. Where the energy is coming from, I think, for Paul's mission, the energy is coming from for these prophetic declarations in Jewish tradition that everybody is going to get with the program and worship the God of Israel at the end of time. The God of Israel is an ethnic God. It's just that he's going to do this amazing act of cross-ethnic outreach when he declares his universal sovereignty. But he's also the God of Jewish history. He's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's the God of Israel. You don't have a genealogical connection with Israel's God. You have a covenantal adoption with Israel's God. And he's also combating pagan gods, whom Jesus is going to defeat when he comes back. He's sort of like establishing a beachhead against these pagan gods, and Jesus is going to destroy them in 1 Corinthians 15, or he's going to...
Yo, Ryan, can you hear me? I see that you're here, but I don't see... Ask to unmute. You're muted and your video's down. Here he comes. Now he's got it. Yo.
There's a little lag, I guess.
Yep. We're back. Sorry about that. No time limit now. Chat is clowning on me like, oh, he doesn't even have the paid version. I signed into the wrong email.
Yeah, whatever. It's like,
you know how it goes. You wouldn't know how it is without being banned by everywhere and having to have all these different logins and things.
Yeah, it's super easy. Just log in YouTube. Boom. Yeah,
Yep.
They keep improving. It's an absolute monopoly. You notice they started bringing accounts back that aren't a threat to the system at all, but everyone else, nah, you're not getting.
How dare they tease us like that? They're like, oh, actually, it's just a pilot program, and only if you got banned for like COVID or election conspiracies. Ryan Dawson and Adam Green, they're not coming back. Sneeko, you can be back. Who else? I don't even know who else.
Yeah, I mean, Sneeko should never have been banned. Like I didn't understand why he was banned. He's not a threat to the system.
Neither should we.
Well, yeah, but
they should, because we're a danger. We're a threat to the man. So they're smart to ban us. Actually.
Yeah. They just, for him, I think it was guilt by association. You know, but he just got caught like faking helping a homeless person. And his little paid actor, like, it's like, are you gonna tell him this is rigged?
No.
Like, why don't you just help a homeless person? How hard is that? You got money, just actually help somebody. Why not?
Dude, he's going that route. He's going the Fousey route.
Same thing Vitali did. Like a lot of that pedophile stuff. It's all fake.
Mm-hmm.
I actually thought, wow, he's redeeming himself. Nah, they didn't catch anybody. Now he's in jail in the Philippines.
Yeah, not looking good.
I saw Johnny Somali 2 days ago. He's stuck here until February. He's going to be going to jail.
Oh, that was the guy that was messing around with in Japan? Oh, yeah, that's right. You're in Japan. I've been covering Japan stuff. Like the Christian Zionists are trying to take over in Japan.
Well, they lost because Yeshiva was forced to resign, and Takaichi's in charge. She's super far right wing. wants to get rid of all the, not all, but she's going to be
All the
very hard to
diversity?
get into Japan as a foreigner. Yeah. Mostly Chinese. And she's not going to allow 500,000 Indians into Japan. But we had a Christian prime minister very briefly. The first thing he did was open the borders.
That's right. That's what it was. That's right.
Yeah. And then 12 major cities, all like within 12 days, all these major cities had protests. The Japanese don't protest. It's so against their character, but they were ready to, they wanted his head. So he resigned. And the woman that's in now is from Nara. I know her. I've known her.
She's hot, right? Is that the hot girl you posted?
No, that's our environmental secretary. She used to be a model of sorts. Bikini
Of
model.
sorts.
Yeah, oiled micro bikinis and stuff, whatever. She does the environment, so that won't end.
This is your who now in Japan?
So she's like the secretary for the environment. She got like
Wow.
RFK's job. Yeah, not health, like environment. Yeah. I'm proud of us.
That's pagan Japan. That's pagan, secular, non-Christian Japan right there.
Well, you know, they always are like, they're going on and stuff. Like, you know, like in Korea too. Somali's in Korea, by the way. I'm in Korea right now. So this is Korean on my hat. Korea's banned porn. There's no porn. It's illegal without Christianity. When Charlie Kirk was over here, he visited Japan and Korea, and he noticed, you know, it's much more peaceful than any Western nation, any Christian dominated nation. Like, we have less crime, like across every measuring stick. It's better in Asia. And he didn't realize it. Like, well, why is it like this? There's these giant blow up couches in Seoul. You can go and like bounce on them like a trampoline. He's like, this wouldn't last 35 seconds in America. Somebody would knife it and pop it. And he's right. They would. They'd, like, you just can't have nice things because you have a bunch of animals running around. And well, it's not because of Jesus or Muhammad, because that doesn't really exist over here. So he chalked it up to like ethnic unity or whatever. I'm like, well, you can go down to Singapore and it's the same thing, and they don't have homogenous ethnicity. It isn't God. It's not race. It's very simple. When people commit crimes, they throw them in jail and they don't let them out. It's all you have to do. But you know, in America, you could go to jail 14 times and get out and kill somebody.
Right.
It's these DAs and these judges. They just let criminals out of jail. You can look at El Salvador as another example. The demographics didn't change. They're all the same El Salvadorians, whatever, Latin, whatever. He just started jailing people. He took that bottom percent that was doing all the crime and he locked them up. And now it's the second safest country in the hemisphere besides, you know, other than Canada. It's safer in El Salvador than it is in Chicago. And it's not like the demographics changed, and it's not like they got a different religion. They just jailed people who commit crime. That's all you have to do. They'll never be as safe as Japan, but there's a lot of cultural differences.
So where are you at with Trump's? What's your analysis of Trump's bombing of Iran? I saw Vance just was addressing questions at TPUSA thing, and he cited that he just bombed them and didn't have boots on the ground or didn't have regime change as proof that Trump's not owned by Israel. But what are your thoughts surrounding that whole thing? You think it's over?
No, they're going to have round two. So first of all, let's acknowledge this. Israel and the United States planned that preemptive attack together. And Israel attacked while the U.S. said, well, we're going to meet. Witkoff is going to go there on Sunday, and we're going to negotiate this stuff out about the non-existent nuclear weapons. And then on Friday, Israel attacks. So while they're kind of lulled to sleep by saying, we're going to meet about this on this day before that meeting takes place, because they thought, oh, they'll do it after that meeting doesn't work. No, they hit them before. And America knew Israel was attacking. They knew. They provided pretty much the entire Air Force comes from the United States, all the F-35s, F-18, 15, 16. It's all American. It's all paid for by American taxpayers. You know, you got to pay for Israel's military and their healthcare system. So they did this preemptive strike on Iran, and the kind of sales pitch, which is totally not right and not true, and they know it's not true, sort of like WMDs in Iraq, was to say that Iran was about to build a nuclear bomb, or that they had already had one, and they're about to build a delivery system. That isn't true. And they're like, oh, it's in Fordo. It's under this mountain, da, da, da. And that's all they had to say is like, well, we got to get them there before they get us here. It was the same rhetoric as 2003. So Israel goes, what Israel really wants to do is disable Iran's ability to aid Hezbollah and the Houthis, who are the only real resistance to total annexation in greater Israel. So they start bombing Iran, assassinated nuclear scientists, assassinated officers. They thought if we hit them really hard, wipe out their officer class, and get air superiority, they won't be able to pull their ballistic missiles out of the mountain to fire at us because we're already there. Like if you pop out, we'll shoot you, type of thing. But Iran moved a lot of its air force to Pakistan, parked it there to preserve it. Israel was able to disable the air defense systems with cyber warfare and drones and things inside the country, and they were able to kill scientists and they were able to kill officers. But within 12 hours, Iran had reorganized, did have ballistic missile systems, I guess they didn't know about, and was able to fire and hit Israel. The first couple days, they had to overload their defense grid. So they fired a lot of trash and drones, because what the Israelis would do is for every incoming missile, which is pretty cheap, they'd fire like 20 anti-missiles, and they blew through their wad really quickly, firing. It's kind of like playing war with a deck of cards and somebody's got a king, so you just give them a 2, like, fine, you took my 2, whatever, you save your big guns for later. That's what Iran did. And so they would spread it out 50 a day, and they're like, why aren't they firing like hundreds a day? Because Iran was thinking this war is going to go on for months and months, so they were like, we want to be able to hit them every day. And they hit their military facilities. They closed down Haifa. They actually hit a Mossad training ground in Tel Aviv, because Israel does have human shields and does mix of stuff.
They're like the headquarters of Mossad is downtown Tel Aviv, right? Remember they said that? We're like, okay, human shield much?
What's it called? There's like a hotel or something on the upper floors. Like they're really underneath like real human shields. Mm-hmm. And, they've got their air raid shelters and all that. And and Jews were not letting the Thai workers and stuff down there. They're like, no, this is for us, not you. Wow. So a lot of them left. A lot of people got scared once they could finally get hit back, and they went home, because most of these, I call them trans Semites, are from Europe. Or because they're not Semitic. Like are
you talking Khazar
no
theory?
One is. I mean, there are no original Jews, because it's all mythology. But like, according to the story, they're supposed to be from the Levant, and these people are from Eastern Europe.
I've seen DNA studies that they do trace back and have Sephardic and Ashkenazi, and they have similar DNA even to some of the Palestinians in the area. I don't believe in
have the strongest DNA connection to like the Natufians and stuff, the Canaanites that would have populated that area.
You don't think Jews are Jews? You think Jews are Jews? You think Ashkenazis do have DNA that goes back to the Middle East?
Believe the lies of a rabbi is a Jew. Like anybody of any race who gets swindled into that.
So all Christians that believe the rabbis that started Christianity, they're all Jews too?
Pretty much. I mean, they're like got to be partly Jewish, because they have a Jewish creation story. If you ask a Christian, they think Yahweh is the same God as the New Testament. So I'm like, well, you're just a Jew with an extra prophet.
Have you not seen both Jay Dyer and Nick admitting that Christians are spiritual Jews?
No, but I don't doubt it. I mean, that's I think Jay's changed his mind. He's like kind of anti-Zionist now, and but Nick, that's weird, because he's definitely anti-Semitic. But I don't think Nick's really Christian. I think he just uses that as a shield. I don't think he's ever read the Bible. I think Jay has. I don't think Nick. He just finds it as
I question if Jay's really a Christian also, honestly. I question both of them. Yeah, they both seem too smart.
Not, but I think at least he's read it. Like Charlie Kirk was a Christian. Like he could chapter and verse better than either of those two. But I'm like, he just did it for money. I mean, he must have known they were bombing Christian churches in Israel. Like, Charlie, come on now. Your wife's a Catholic, and they just blew up a Catholic church. Like, how do you square that? He was really, really wrestling with that. Their pastor was there in Scottsdale, Arizona, and that church was having a hard time justifying, but not only like all the hospitals and things they blew up, and when they're blowing up churches, it's like, yeah, I mean, they annex houses in Bethlehem. That's the alleged birthplace of Christ. And they burned down the Church of Miracles, where he allegedly, it's the area where he divided the loaves of bread and fish among the masses. They set it on fire. The only thing left was the basement and some of the Bibles that they grabbed and ran out with, or whatever. It's kind of sad, like from just a historical point of view, like these are significant areas. Even with mythology, I think that stuff's important. Like, just from like, I wouldn't want that to happen. I saw these giant Buddhist statues blown up in Afghanistan, and all this stuff in Palmyra that the ISIS destroyed in Syria. It's a loss for everybody. I wouldn't want. We have the Epic of Gilgamesh preserved. It's in a Korean writing museum. It's on loan, but it's here right now. Pretty cool. That's the pre-flood story that was art copied.
I'm not for erasing history in the past either. Even I'm very anti, Abrahamic religions, but I don't want to see all the churches, burnt down or anything crazy like that. Of course not. Yeah, no.
Notre Dame caught on fire. I was really sad. I thought, wow, that just from architecture alone. Like,
I was bad because I was there right outside and I wasn't able to go in because they were doing construction when I was there.
You were there when there was a fire at Notre Dame, huh?
After, yeah, good one.
The Dome of the Rock caught fire the same day. I mean, what a coincidence!
Really, I don't remember hearing that.
Yeah, they attacked the Dome of the Rock on the same day.
It was a fire from an attack too, not just like an accident.
Well, it was
an oil lamp.
Yeah,
oil lamp. Okay.
Yeah, Jewish lightning.
Yeah, the second Hanukkah miracle, the lamp burns down the Dome of the Rock in Al-Aqsa so they can rebuild their temple.
Oh, I thought.
What do you think about Trump's? What do you think about Trump's peace deal? Peace in the Middle East. Hey, dude.
Let me finish on Iran. So Trump ends up going in, like, Israel starts losing the war. Ballistic missiles are hitting Haifa. Mm-hmm. They've run out of ballistic missile defense systems. People always say they ran out of missiles. No, they had those. They didn't have enough firing mechanisms. Iran was taking out the anti-ballistic missile defense systems, the Patriots and THAADs and stuff, but David Sling, Arrow 1, 2, 3, and Iron Dome. They were getting decimated. And that's hilarious to hit a ballistic missile defense system with the ballistic missile. Let's just say that's funny. And so they needed a timeout. That's when they called Dad, and they're like, Dad, we're losing. So Trump goes in and bombs Fordo, and he declares it a great victory and all. He tells Iran ahead of time, like, look, we're coming. We need some face-saving way to create an off-ramp. And he's like, and you're going to accept this, or we're going to bomb you. We're going to erase you. So Iran had to. I mean, they fired like 14 shots at Qatar, but the U.S. knew ahead of time and cleared everyone out, and the U.S. bombed, and that was their off-ramp to be like, okay, the purpose for the war that you're building nuclear weapons has been taken care of because America went and took them out, even though they never existed. Therefore, we can stop. And it gave Israel a way to end it. But the two of them kept firing at each other until the very end of the day. And then Trump's like, knock it off. So they did. But Netanyahu was on the phone begging Trump to do something to end the war. What he wanted was a full U.S. invasion in Iran. And we're like, we're not doing that.
Really?
Because not because
delusional.
It was because they can't do that. Like they would not win. Like they aren't prepared to send in the army to subdue 81 million people in a mountainous region who are we can't do that. So we'll bomb them from the air, which is what he did. And it's kind of a timeout. And they just like, okay, they just went and bombed Qatar, bombed Lebanon, annexed the West Bank, blew up Gaza. But Israel will get that war going again, and they will lose again, and the U.S. will get dragged into it. And if the U.S. ground forces get dragged into it, like, yeah, America can take on Iran if it wants like 50,000 casualties, sure, and billions and billions of dollars. And then what? You're going to occupy it like you did Iraq for how long? And how many are going to die from that? It isn't worth the price tag. There's no doubt in my mind that there's no like moral decision making. It's all just like, can we do that? And people in the Pentagon are saying, no, we can't. We cannot invade Iran on the ground. It would be better to soften them up with sanctions, create internal revolts, get Azerbaijan on their case. Let's get Afghanistan and India to tag team Pakistan. We'll finish off Yemen. We're strangling Hezbollah and Lebanon. Just wait, because they're weakening. Every day we get stronger, they get weaker. So just wait, then invade Iran. That seems to be the plan. But if they went in now, it would not go well. And Iran has enough ballistic missiles to flatten Israel. And I just wish they would. I wish they'd make it look like Gaza. That's what they deserve. But
do you think Trump deserves the Peace Prize?
I kind of do, considering the other people they gave it to, right? I mean, they gave it to Henry Kissinger. They gave it to Obama, and Obama invaded Libya and Syria and started the Crimea conflict. So, I mean,
seems deserved then.
Kind of like, yeah, I mean, you ought to just give one to Stalin too, post-mortem or whatever. Like, in a way, of course, he doesn't deserve a peace prize, but that prize isn't a peace prize. They only give it to warmongers. They've given it to several Israeli prime ministers. So yeah, he should get it, because that award is already trash.
Yeah, nominated by Netanyahu, no less.
They actually give him one too.
Yeah, the war heroes, the two war heroes / Peace Prize winners.
To destroy the credibility of the Nobel Peace Prize any further than it's already been done. Get John Bolton one. Why not? I mean,
but Trump made the biggest deal in 3,000 years. Peace in the Middle East, dude. He did it. It's all because of him. He saved the world from World War III.
How many minutes before they were killing Palestinians?
What do you mean? There's a ceasefire.
This is the real slap in the face. Like, if you want to be like your dog's bitch to Israel, which Trump is. I mean, other than LBJ, he's the most Zionist president we've had. You can't get worse than Lyndon.
I'm the most pro-Israel president ever. It's not even close. LBJ doesn't even come up to, didn't even get his bar mitzvah and Jewish awards compared to me.
But he might not have gotten it. There weren't as many rewards.
I'm the Prince of Peace. I saved the world. I'm the Torah crown Prince of Peace.
Like this. Do the it's fake news. He should get a peace prize because they're all just trash. But when they did this whole pomp and circumstance, right? Like, we're going to get the hostages back, which is all it was. Let's get the hostages, and then we'll just double cross them and bomb them. Everybody knew this.
So they broke in the ceasefire. That was my next question. The ceasefire has been broken.
With Lebanon too. On the same day, they broke the ceasefire they made with Lebanon and Gaza. So not only
is Trump going to take this? Isn't this like embarrassing to Trump?
You think that he can be embarrassed?
Did you see him and Marco Rubio were asked, like, Israel's bombing some more, and they're like, well, everybody agrees that they're allowed to bomb still if they're defending themselves. It's like, so much for the ceasefire when they can still bomb whenever they want.
Why not a peace accord? Why ceasefire? Like, none of the underlying things that caused the conflict were addressed. You're still occupying, you're still annexing land, you're still like the whole reason there was an October 7th, they didn't even bring it up. And of course, they're still shooting, they're still bombing, they're still starving. And they went in and bombed Lebanon. Just out of the blue, we're going to break that ceasefire too with Hezbollah.
How about all
the... should give a peace prize to? Giuliani. Like, if you really, like, giving it to the leader of ISIS, that would be... that would be... Yeah, not Rudolph Giuliani, just
the new leader of Syria. I know. I was on the stream the other day and I was like, I've heard a lot of people say this guy used to run ISIS or something, or be in ISIS. I'm like, is that just like a conspiracy? I looked it up and it really was true. I was like, wow, they're just going.
He was al-Baghdadi. He's his protege. That's Al Qaeda in Iraq. So he goes to Syria, and he was the head of the Al-Nusra Front, which was the Turkish-backed terrorists that ended up absorbing the other groups. Like, ISIS is al-Sham and Al-Nusra Front and FSA combo. That's all it is. And yeah, he is a terrorist. I mean, he chopped off heads. He killed a 12-year-old Palestinian, put his head in a pickup truck. Like, I remember all this. I remember they're all deleted, but I did all these Syrian updates with Andrew Illingworth. You probably saw some of them. It was like, for what? I mean, they're just going to lie at the end of the day. And this is part of the script. I mean, Netanyahu had a script: get rid of Saddam, get rid of Assad. Like, he wanted to topple the secular nations first because they're a threat. Is it secular
The
nation?
new Middle East and the Avraham Accords. You've seen Trump joking about Avraham instead of Abraham. How funny is that?
He called
He said,
Netanyahu the president of Israel.
"Oh, that's funny." How about how crazy was Trump at the Knesset when he said, Miriam Adelson, I ask her, which do you love more, America or Israel? Could you believe that?
I mean, why is a foreigner able to give hundreds of millions of dollars to a U.S. president? That's treason.
Freedom. She's a patriot.
Yeah.
JD Vance had to address, they asked him about Miriam Adelson too. He's like, it's no secret that she's pro-Israel. It's like,
But why
I was going to ask something else too.
from an Israeli?
Yeah. How about at the UN though? I want to get your take on the UN. All these different countries condemning Israel for genocide and occupation and recognizing a Palestinian state. What was it, like Australia, Canada, France, England? They're all acknowledging a Palestinian state. Your take on that?
And that's behind Slovenia and Spain, Ireland and Norway already did it, and Armenia already recognized Palestine. And before that, everyone else pretty much had anyway. So it was, when France, England, and Canada and Australia, and I think Denmark, right? They all acknowledge Palestine exists. It's kind of silly to me because it's abstract. Like it exists because it exists, whether you acknowledge it or not. It's just like Taiwan. Like Taiwan is real. They have their own government, their own currency, is a different country. It is not China. But they're all and act like, oh, we don't, it's not confused. Only a government could have this ambiguity of the existence of the thing that everybody knows is there. Like, who are they bombing if it's not Palestinians? So they're saying, well, what they really did is a two-state solution. So they wanted you to acknowledge that Israel's also a state. I said, okay, well, what are the borders of that state? Undefined, right? Because they're mobile as they go in and they annex more of the West Bank. But I felt like it was a stunt. The populations of these countries are very pro-Palestine. They try and paint it like it's some weirdo college leftist thing or like Muslim migrant thing. It's not. It's just normal people with an IQ above room temperature don't want to shoot babies. I mean, it's not a left-wing thing. It's not a Muslim thing. It's just a humanity thing.
Normal people really don't go for God gave them the land. I think that's a big thing too. Like, okay, God gave you the land, chosen people. Like, let's quit. Well,
their supporters believe that. I mean, it's called Israel because that's Israel means one who wrestles with God, and the entire thing is based on the Jacob story where Jacob wrestled with an angel or Jacob wrestled with God himself, and then was blessed. You know, he hurt his hip, and the sun was coming. Kind of sounds like a demon more than an angel, like he's afraid of the sunlight, right? He only wrestles in the dark.
Oh, you know what the Kabbalists think is that angel that Jacob wrestled with was the guardian angel of Esau, which is Satan.
Yeah, I think it would be more fitting to be Satan. This whole story of Satan being a fallen angel is copied from the Ishtar mythology. It's not in the Bible. They only mention Lucifer once in Isaiah 14, which it's actually talking about, it's an allegory about a Babylonian king. Satan is Satan. He was never an angel. Satan is Satan. Satan is Yahweh. He is the devil.
He created him. It's his controlled opposition. He created him. He allows him to live and operate and does a role. It's bullshit. Everybody blaming everything on it's satanic, it's Luciferian everywhere, it's demonic, and all that does is scare people towards it's Jewish. Exactly. Jewish like boogeyman.
It's not the devil. Like, these things aren't real. These things they're real in the way like money's real. Like, physically money's just paper, but it's not just paper because it's accepted as a currency and you can get things with it and stuff. And like, yes, the devil is not physically a reality, but the belief in him is, and the rules and stuff from Yahweh are. Like, these beliefs exist. It's a reality. So when I say devil, it's just Judaism. Like, Yahweh is evil. Like, he has human sacrifices. He kills all the firstborn children of Egypt. He sends fiery snakes to kill his own followers. He flooded the whole world and killed everybody except for one family. He's just constantly murdering, maiming, swallowed people with the earth, sent plagues. Like, this is an evil.
Chose the Jews.
Dimension. So it comes from an evil culture because gods are reflections of the cultures that make them up. and the culture that made up Yahweh is a sick society at its root. And then it reinforces itself, because if you have a sick deity that demands obedience, ignorance, and that whole thing, like, it's a war on knowledge from the creation story onward. Like, don't eat off the tree of knowledge, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. That's bad. You're supposed to be an ignorant, obedient slave. Like, this is complete inverse of basically every other religion ever made. Usually says, no, truth is a good thing. Knowledge is a good thing. Not in Judaism. It's obedience is a good thing. Don't try to be like the gods. That's the Tower of Babel story. They punish them for knowledge. Sodom and Gomorrah, they punished them for knowledge. Garden of Eden, they punished them for knowledge. Like, the whole thing is shut up and obey. And they're never about truth. It's all about deception. Jacob, that gets in the wrestling match with the devil or whatever, all he does is lie. He lies to his blind father. He takes advantage of his brother when he's in a situation where he was starving and he took his birthright. He lied to his employer. He lied to his concubine. He has a concubine. He lied to her sister. He lied to Rachel. He lied to Leah. All he does is lie. And he is chosen to be the founder. He changes his name to Israel. Israel's not a land, it's a people. The bloodlines of Israel, the one who wrestled with God, is the 12 tribes of Israel, even though there's only really 2. That is like the foundation of Judaism, is based on a serial liar who just went around, because they don't see lying as wrong. They think it's cunning. They think it's clever, like Machiavellian stuff.
It's okay for them to lie because we're evil.
Yeah, the whole religion is based on deception, obedience, and ignorance. When it makes me, it's funny because these like Judeo-Christians are like, I thought Christ was supposed to be based on truth, charity, and forgiveness. But your Judeo is based on deception, jealousy, and revenge. It's like a complete inverse. Now, obviously, Christians don't behave that way. I mean, the Pope himself made a proclamation that divided the whole new world between Portugal and Spain, and they went around slaughtering millions. So the hell with love thy neighbor. But at least it's said, at least there's some parts that you could cherry pick in the New Testament. Like, well, this is a good, like, I could agree with this value without all the supernatural stuff. But the Old Testament doesn't have one redeeming sentence. It's just disgusting. It's like, of course you end up with Israel. Of course you end up with a society that shoots babies and rapes prisoners and blows up hospitals. Have you ever read the Old Testament? Then you go look at the Talmud.
No, bro,
like,
Zionism
wow,
has nothing to do with Judaism. How many times have we heard that? Zionism has nothing to do with Judaism.
You would even have Jews without Judaism. It would just be people. They made a self-alienating faith that divided the whole earth in the Jew and Gentile, or Jew and Goy. They think you're cattle. It's all about conquest. You read Samuel and the Book of Kings and all that, and Daniel's not even a real figure. They made him up. Daniel is whatever. Like, all of it's made up. There is no Adam and Eve. There was no Moses. There was none of these things. They're all fictional up until about Jeremiah. That's a real person, but it's all conquest. It's all kill your neighbors, steal their stuff. In Moses' own books, I mean, Deuteronomy is probably the most disgusting books in the Bible, is that and Leviticus. Like, it's insane. And then you get the Talmud, which is just, wow, it does get worse and weird. Zohar and stuff with the masturbating ghost and whatever, like setting your poop on fire, just dumb, weird stuff all throughout. But I mean, the Old Testament has a talking donkey and a man living in a whale's belly and making the sun stand still, even though the earth goes around the sun. A lot of the firmament, excuse me. But you get these holy rollers like Candace Owens, who's not sure if the earth is round or flat. She's agnostic on it, doesn't believe in the moon landing and so on. And that's our leadership now, you know.
What do you think of the Charlie Kirk conspiracies and Candace lately?
They're horrible. It's like, I can absolutely see Israel farming out to Antifa to kill Charlie Kirk if he was like, if it's true that he was starting to sway. But Mossad's never going to put a guy on the roof. That's stupid. Just use an expendable. And there's plenty of people that hated Charlie Kirk that you could farm that out to. And you look at the other shootings, with FBI spooks in Discord, like the Buffalo shooter and stuff. That's what they did. So that's a perfectly reasonable conspiracy. But man, they'll say anything besides the guy on the roof film with a gun. Like they're like, it's not him. It's an exploding microphone. It's a trap door. It's a shot from behind. It's tunnels. It's whatever. Anything.
The palm gun on the arm.
Oh yeah, palm gun, NATO weapons, all this. Like, look at the flash, the camera flash. He doesn't have an entry wound in the back of the neck, the back of the head, or anything. He only has one wound on. He has one entry wound on his neck. His neck did not stop a bullet. That was Andrew Kovik's. He's this Christian holy roller to want to be like, Charlie's bones stopped the bullet from hitting the person behind him. It's a miracle. Like, no, it's not a miracle. The bullet didn't go like this. It went like this. So it went down into his torso.
It deflected in. It was already coming down on a little angle and then deflected into the body. Right?
Probably hit his shoulder bone and went down his spine like that. Charlie was 6'5". It's, it's not, it's like not very probable, but you don't know. But he was kind of leaning forward where he put the microphone down. Look, it went down his body. It didn't come out. And it would come out if it hit straight on. It would have gone in front of his neck, out the back of his neck, easy, especially if it's a 30-06. But could a torso stop that bullet? Yes, because you see that in carcasses. I've seen 17-inch ballistic gel stop a 30-06 at that distance.
I saw those. I saw the gel videos too, and I asked ChatGPT. I said, "Can a 30-06 ever get lodged in a body like on hunting?" It says it does happen. A small, like it's. I think it said 10 to 20% of the time.
So usually when you shoot a deer or whatever, you're hitting it like this and having it come out like that. You don't shoot it like in the chest and have it come out as butthole. Like a body can stop a bullet like that, and we don't know that was the bullet. We're assuming that's the bullet, but whatever. Mm-hmm. You know what it is because he doesn't have an exit wound. So it had to have gone down his torso. There's no way it just stopped at the skin or something. He's not Wolverine.
It looked like it did too. Like his whole body was contorting and like exploding all over. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's sad? His cross necklace flew off his head. So Jesus abandoned him at his moment of death.
No, dude, he got sanctified. He's a martyr now. He was the turning point. Now what do you think of the Christian revival after all of this? You see, dude, Christianity is exploding on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere. The algorithm is pushing it. The Charlie Kirk revival, Trump and Vance and what do you think about that?
Who wants that type of Christianity? Like, why can't we get the Ron Paul, Dan McAdams type of Christians? Why do we got these weirdos that want to blow up Palestinians? Yeah. This TPUSA is a bunch of holy roll. They remind me, they're right up there with like that Olsen guy. Who's the dude that he looks like a demon? You know who I'm talking about? Kenneth Copeland. Yeah. Holy shit, dude. Don't you ever. He's like, you're possessed. And people like Laura Loomer make me start to rethink the witch trials. Like maybe they were onto something. But no,
dude, they were burning pagan women for not worshiping Moshiach. That's what the witch trials were.
Well, in the U.S., like in Salem, they just burned other Christian women so they could get their property. And that was part of the problem. Like, well, you have these Christian pedophiles marrying 14-year-olds and stuff, and then the husband would die. And the woman would have all his property, but she couldn't remarry. So one way to get the property is to say she's a witch, kill her, and then you can divide the land. That's what they were doing. Yeah, they killed pagans. They didn't even need to say you were a witch. They could just say you're a pagan. Like, you don't believe in Jesus? You're evil. Boom. They killed a lot of Native Americans. And even when they converted, didn't matter. Like, it was always an excuse to steal stuff. And it's just part of that. Europeans don't even know their own myths. They all know the Jewish creation story. They all know how many Jews allegedly died in World War II, but they don't know how many Americans or any other religious.
How many Americans?
How many Americans died in World War II? Nobody knows.
If I had to guess, maybe I could embarrass myself right now. I really have no clue. That's sad. I've heard the 60 million number of Russians or Christians died, but I also heard that that's like a fake statistic. It's not really that high. But is it even a million?
People total might have died, but most of them would have been Chinese and by the communists.
Is it less than a million Americans died in World War II?
Under a million, slightly under a million.
Yeah. And okay, I'm close then.
yeah, but I mean, the biggest brunt, the Russians lost the most, and then Germans and Japanese. Um,
If
China
Mossad,
lost the most.
could we go back
But
to
China, like, I don't think you have to count Mao's conflict is not part of World War II. It's more of a result from it. So I would say, yeah, Russia lost the most. China ended up taking the torch and winning eventually. But a lot of Russia and China's deaths weren't intentional. It's not like death by bullet. It's death by starvation. And it's because their policies didn't work. But I'm pretty sure they intended for their policies to work, and they didn't. So they end up starving. Central planning is a big L. But, they believed it. They thought it would work.
How about on the other war front? Your thoughts? It's like I always thought Trump was very pro-Putin, and now he's making deals with Zelensky. He tweeted about Putin being a killer, and he said he wants all of Ukraine, and he's not listening. And they were supposed to have a meeting, but then it got canceled. And what's your take on the latest with
Trump's
the
not
Ukraine
pro-Putin,
front?
man. Like they're all Zelensky. He kind of said stuff like, I'll end that war in 24 hours, blah, blah, blah. He's lying,
He said that was a joke. They questioned him on that, and he's like, oh, you believe that? I was just kidding. That was just
Well,
rhetoric.
it's hyperbole because it's not going to be 24 hours. It just means quickly. In New York talk, that means I'll get it over fast.
You think he's mad that Putin isn't like making him look like a deal maker and a hero and being difficult?
I mean, why would Putin take a deal when he's winning the war? Like, he's going to get all that land anyway. So why is he going to make a deal? Yeah, they just tried to pressure China to try to pressure Russia to end the war. It's like, you guys had terms offered to you 3 times and you rejected it. Now that you lost Kupiansk and your army surrounded and you're having tens of thousands of Ukrainian soldiers surrender, now you want a deal. Well, you've lost all your leverage. You're not going to get a deal now. They're going to borrow the air defense systems from Europe. So NATO's going to throw in its last bits of Patriots and stuff to prolong the war a little bit more.
Well, Trump too, not just NATO. Trump's backing it too. Trump's backing NATO also. He's not.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean,
well, actually, hasn't Trump said like that he'll sell NATO weapons that they can give to Ukraine? Isn't that the latest? Right.
He's going to give them. Trust me, he can say.
And
whatever.
is Putin really winning the war? Because didn't Trump call him a paper tiger? And Trump, did you see the post? Trump was like, "Oh, Putin. Everybody thought Putin should have ended this war in like 2 weeks, and it's still going on years later. Like, is he?
Putin would have
is he a paper tiger?
If it was only Ukraine, Ukraine's economy collapsed within weeks. But it's not Ukraine; it's NATO. He's like Ukrainians. Like, people are people. There's nothing special about the French that make them better fighters than Ukrainians. Whatever. It's the weapons. You give the same weapons to Ukrainians that the British have, the French have, Americans have, and they can fight just as well as you, probably better. They probably had a rougher life or whatever. Like, it's not like, oh, we have way better training.
They're Nazi war machines, according to Putin. I'm just joking.
They have Nazi symbols. They're not.
I know. That was a joke. How about Trump threatening that he's got like advanced nuclear subs off the coast of Russia?
Yeah, I dare you. Russia has missiles that can carry nuclear warheads that can be fired from Russia and hit anywhere in the planet.
Hypersonic, right?
Well, they're nuclear powered, which means they can fly infinite distance. They can drop out of space and land on DC. So you lost the nuclear war. That's it. It's a weapon.
Do you think America would lose the nuclear war? But Trump subs. He says we have the best subs.
We don't. It's the sub. We have good subs, but the subs. That's not okay. Russia.
Trump said they're more advanced than anything.
Who has a bigger landmass? Right. If you're talking nuclear war, things are just going to get right. Who's dug in and who has a bigger landmass? Russia. The U.S. You wipe out the coastal areas. It's done. It's over. And nobody wins in a nuclear war. And to say the N-word, to threaten them with nuclear subs, they're like, okay, well, they will nuke you too. They have a dead hand switch. You nuke them, you get nuked. And guess who has more nukes? Russia. Thousands of more nukes. Guess who has bigger?
And China too. And they're allied with China, who has like almost as many, right? Russia and China have way more nukes than us in the West.
Russia alone has more nukes than the West. Russia and China have more nukes than America and all of their allies put together. You could add India. It wouldn't matter. They have more nukes than everybody.
Do you think that this is a likelihood, though, that any of these are going to be fired off ever? Or are you a nothing's ever happens guy? Do you think Trump's going to make a deal with Putin finally and end this? Because they're talking. It seems like that could be on the table here soon. Trump was like, I stopped 9 wars and the biggest deal ever. That was actually harder than Russia and Ukraine. Couldn't just this end with another meeting?
Well, it could if you got rid of Zelensky. The thing is, Zelensky's not going to accept anything. He still wants Crimea.
I thought they did agree, though, and Putin's the one that didn't agree to the latest
it's
deals.
Opposite. Putin said that they want the Donbass, Kherson, and Zaporizhia, which they kind of de facto have anyway.
They're in control of right now.
In the war, but you got to get out of that little pocket of Donetsk. You got to get out, and you cannot join NATO. So you can't join NATO, and you're going to have to cede this territory to us. There was even a negotiation where some of the elements in Ukraine were like, okay, you can have Donetsk and Luhansk, and you can have Zaporozhye, but we're not giving up Kherson. At least the side of it on the north of the Dnieper River is staying Ukrainian. But Zelensky comes in, he's like, no, we want all of the Donbass, Zaporozhye, Kherson, and Crimea. Like, dude, Crimea is gone. It's been gone since 2014. So he's just to the last Ukrainian. He's a little racist Jew that is, made himself a billionaire off the war. You got to get rid of him. If you're going to have any serious negotiations or settlement, Zelensky can't be.
Didn't it look like Zelensky was out? Remember when Trump and Vance were like, scolding him for not being thankful in the Oval Office? It looked like it was. I'm so surprised that they made up after that.
The whole thing looked like why don't you wear a suit and stuff? Because what happened is they had like completely agreed with him, and then they turn the cameras on, and Zelensky starts asking for even more, and that pissed them off. They're like, dude, we just went over this. At least the Trump administration is talking to Russia. Like, Biden did not even have communications. I don't think Witkoff.
Yeah, that's absurd. That is absurd.
Yeah, like not even having a phone open, like not even having a channel open. That was worse. And so, and I'm splitting cunt hairs here because they all suck. It is better than Biden. At least there is the potential for communication and some kind of deal eventually.
At least he's trying to say he wants to meet and settle it. Right.
Yeah, his donor class, his Epstein clients, they don't want it. They don't care how many Ukrainians die, and they want to kill Russians. And they know that they were able to take the rest of Syria, for example, because Russia was handcuffed to Ukraine and NATO and couldn't come to the rescue. And so their terrorists from Turkey went in and took over Syria.
It's like Russia didn't do anything to stop Assad's fall.
They couldn't. I mean, they got enough. They can barely. I
thought they were winning the war, though. I thought they were winning, and they're not winning the Ukraine war.
They're not winning the war so much they can start another war against Turkish mercenaries.
They are holding on to the land that they have already taken and occupied, though.
Yeah, so the Russian war strategy is not coloring in the map like a video game. That's what people think. Oh, winning a war is like when you get more territory. It doesn't matter if they take a city or not, which is very hard. Like, you lose a lot taking a city, because the whole point of the color in the map thing, like in a game, is when you take a city, you're depriving them of their factories and resources that support their war effort. But Ukraine's getting all of its ammo, guns, everything from other countries. So you'd have to go take over England, France, and America, which you can't do. So the strategy of like grabbing hills and grabbing dirt and taking out factories and stuff isn't going to work when all of it's produced outside of Ukraine anyway. So what they're doing instead is, if you can't take out their ability to produce supplies and weapons, what's left is taking out the personnel. So that's what everyone calls the meat grinder. They've taken over the Donbass, and they're not going further across the Dnieper. They're staying where they are, surrounding troops and killing personnel. Because eventually you will run out of men. You're never going to run out of money, because you have all of America and NATO. Realistically, you're not going to run out of weapons, because you have half the planet producing weapons for you, but you will run out of people. It takes 18 years to grow an 18-year-old, and they just don't have it. And so Russia's plan is to save their own personnel. You don't charge in and surround cities like Bakhmut. That was stupid. Poroshenko did that. Poroshenko, Jewish, by the way. That's stupid. It looks good for people who don't understand war. Look, we took the city. It's a dumb strategy. If you have superior artillery, which they do, you can sit back and kill them with almost no losses to your own side. It's a very slow process, but you're killing them. They're not killing you. Eventually, they run out of personnel, and you get all the land anyway. So they're winning. That's why they're like, well, you don't see them capturing a lot of dirt, although the line has moved west slowly, but that's not their prerogative because it doesn't really. That just stretches their own line, gives them more territory they have to defend, with no real gain because you're not actually depriving them of anything. They're like, oh look, they have to go west a bit to cut off roads and supply lines to Ukraine's eastern front, and they have done that. And they've been doing this like double envelopment, the same thing the Japanese used to do in World War II. And they've been doing a lot of Mongolian tactics too, and it's been working. They've tunneled under and stuff. And so that's when people look at the map and like, well, the red, part of the map doesn't change that much. They're like, yeah, but look at the number of casualties. Ukraine is losing men exponentially, and the Russian death toll has slowed down tremendously. But Russia it's still a tough fight. They're not going to go to Syria, and get stuck in that quagmire again. They can't fight. And then if they were, then what would happen? Then the U.S. could start another front. Russia's not going to fall for that. Like, nah, it sucks for Syria. It sucks for Hezbollah, but their prerogative is finish the war in Ukraine. And Ukraine's tough, and they got a lot of mercenaries from Poland and everywhere else. They're not just fighting Ukrainians, but they are going to run out of personnel. And then what's going to happen? Are they going to?
Is Russia not going to run out of soldiers too, though? Why is it only one side's going to run out of soldiers?
Well, Russia starts with 150 million people, and Ukraine starts with 22 million people. So that's just the writing on the wall. Even if it was a 1-to-1 ratio, which it isn't, Ukraine's going to lose more men. The other thing is Russia on land, they don't have the best Navy. They don't have the best Air Force. Neither does Ukraine. But on land, Russia has the best artillery on earth. They made some mistakes in the beginning because of nepotism and stuff where people got their positions. Those guys have been flushed out. As the war goes on, your better generals end up in where they ought to be. And this whole year, Ukraine has not had a significant victory at all. They do some stunts like, oh, let's send some drones into Moscow.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, what about the drones? That was a pretty big victory.
They blow up some oil factories or something, but all of Kiev had the lights taken out. They just lost 20,000 men were enveloped in Kupiansk, and most of them got killed, and over 10,000 have now surrendered. When you get 10,000 men surrendering, it's okay, and that's your crack troops. That's your Weimar or whatever. Like, it's all mush behind that. It's all teenagers and old men, and they know it. That's why they're like pushing America, get a deal, get a deal, get a deal, get a delay at least. And they're going to the UK and they're saying, send in the Brits. And Starmer's seriously thinking about sending British soldiers into Ukraine. I think they'll. What would the British public do? Well, probably nothing. I mean, they already have migrant hotel rapists and knife gangs and digital ID, and like that place is cooked. It's over. Like, it's sad. I don't want to lose Britain, but England at least is gone. It's unrecognizable from what it used to be. They've really got to get rid of Starmer. But I don't know who you'd put in. Farage sucks. Labor sucks. Conservative sucks. Like, what are you going to do? Galloway's out, so
it's going to be hard to reverse what's happened there. Hey, we got some super chats.
That guy had a meat cleaver that took that woman's head off, and they still let migrants in. Yeah, holy shit.
Hey, hey Dawson, I gotta go pee real quick and then play the super chat. So if you just want to like plug your stuff or your doc or anything, I gotta go run to the bathroom so bad. All right, I'll be right back.
Gonna take a pig,
and then we'll go another 10 or 15 minutes to get through these super chats. as soon as I get back. Sorry, I'll be right
Adam's
back.
gonna hit the philosophical throne. It's where your best ideas come from when you're when you're having a Bernanke, as we used to say. Janet Yellen is in Korea, by the way. She's going to be out here. That little snake she used to be the head of the Fed and then the Treasury. She lost. I remember there was a talk, and it was like Sam Bankman Fraud. This is before he got caught. Zelensky, Yellen, and some other Jew. All people who lost billions of dollars, and they're giving financial advice. But if you guys go to ryandawson.org, I have a 4-hour September 11th movie, the non-kook version, free on ryandawson.org. It's called Empire Unmasked Reduxed. You can check that out. Go bookmark it. I don't expect people to just have 4 hours like consecutively, just sit there and do. You set it aside. It's a nice Halloween movie. It's Halloween tomorrow in the US. It's Halloween here right now, by the way. Happy Halloween if you're watching this in Australia, New Zealand, or Asia. But go watch that. It's clear. That film should be everywhere. But none of these influencers are going to touch it, and we know it. They're not going to do it. Is their primary concern isn't about moving the needle or justice or truth. It's about their own clout. That seems to be the case. I was talking about the film and saying what a litmus test it is. Like, you can see who shared the film and who was quiet on it. I'm like, don't you care about 9/11? Like, you're never going to get a better documentary on it than that. They care about their own clout. They don't want to share something from someone else, especially if they're these people that are pilfering my work. Because it's like, well, once you find the source, you no longer need the middleman. But it's like, you see the people who shared it. Like, this is a great documentary. You should see it. Da, 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 da. I believe you did. Jake Shields did. There's people who did. And there's other people as total radio silence. People who've said, oh, I love the movie. I saw the first one. Da, da, da. I'm like, okay, you going to mention the second one? Nothing.
Yeah,
they don't do it.
No, I need to do it because it's been a long time since I watched it, and I need a refresher. But maybe I would say promote it and post it again and talk about it and do some interviews before the next 9/11 because it is like 25 years ago. So there is,
Well, what happened was September 10th, yeah. Charlie Kirk got shot. So it was like
that too. That's right.
That's all anyone's going to talk about.
Yeah, the ritual sacrifice.
Like, it's a faggot on the roof. You've got. He did not reassemble his gun. He's still there with an assembled rifle in his hand on film, climbing off the roof. He did not take it apart, so therefore he didn't have to put it back together. He just shot him, ran, and then climbed down and ran away. It's in his own Discord messages. It's his own text messages. And we're like, oh, that's fake. He's total cop talk. He says, my love, and he says, like, vehicle instead of
vehicle. Dude, hold on. I was about to bring that up.
Gamer talk too, by the way, and these guys are addicted to games. But here's the thing: like, if that's fake, okay, then all the defense attorney has to do is subpoena the phone records, and if that's not there, he walks. Mm-hmm. It's a stupid thing to lie about.
Yeah,
and unnecessary. You already got him with the palm print, and he's on film, and his own family has helped turn him in. Like, he's already cooked. You don't need these messages. Those messages are real. And he did say my love and stuff because he says that in Discord. He said they have his Discord. They had audio chat. They have all that now. Mm-hmm. So, the autopsy is going to come out. The bullet's going to still be in his body. They're going to release all this Discord stuff. And everybody who's doing all this cuckoo conspiracy shit is going to suck a dick. But they're not. They're just going to be like, it's fake. The FBI is faking everything. Mm-hmm. Like, if he has an entry wound anywhere on the back of his head, back of his neck, whatever, you have to get all the EMTs, you have to get everyone at the hospital, the surgeon, the pathologist, his own wife. And he had an open casket because they're Catholic, so no one saw this, right? They all see the big one on. Everyone knows that the neck was hit.
No, she's on too. Erica Kirk
on the back. There's film of the back of his head too. He doesn't get shot from behind, but they're obsessed with this because, like, well, he can't be shot from the front because everything has to be JFK. Everything has to be conspiracy, and they got to be the little detective and figure it out. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's just a faggot on the roof.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of leftists were celebrating it too, and it's not like they don't have
leftists were saying it was going to
access
happen
to weapons
before he got shot.
Yeah. Charlie knew it was going to happen. On the vehicle thing, this is so funny. Okay, I saw a TikTok this morning, a guy breaking down. Candace made a video, and she was like, look, this shooter was pulled over, and he said car, and nobody says vehicle but cops, so it's fake. in that same video, when the shooter was talking to the cops, he also did say the word vehicle. So her whole argument fell apart in the video where he said vehicle. And people are saying, oh, nobody calls each other my love. It's funny that you say that, because my wife has had my name in her phone for like as long as we've been together, it has said my love for me in the phone.
It's such
so
a
that's
weak
funny
argument
that you
to
would
say no one talks like that. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Do you know these people? You don't know how they talk to each other. A lot of gamers say vehicle. Tyler says vehicle to a police officer another time when he was pulled over. It's in the Discord. It's in his text messages. And like I said, if that is fake, then you'd have to get on his phone and put it there and have it timestamped and everything too. Because you can get a forensic expert in there and look through the phone. If those messages are not there, then a lot of people are in trouble and he walks. There's no reason to lie about it. Like, he did it.
They'll just say his lawyer's in on it. They gave him a public defender, and they're in on it too. Did you see the theory about, also I covered the other day, there's I think Jimmy Dore. The Google searches. People were searching things like months before.
Not
Did
true.
you see that one?
Yeah, I did. I went to Google Trends and I typed it in. I looked at France and I looked at the US. There is nothing in July. It's all from September 12th onward, all of it. But even Jimmy Dore's fallen for this crap. I'm like, dude, it's easy to fake a screenshot. And this type of shit sandwich is on purpose, because any actual researcher would say, oh, really? And they would go to Google Trends. They would type in Charlie Kirk and they would type in Tyler Robinson. Then they'd type in Tyler Robinson, Charlie Kirk, all variations of that. And there's no mention of it in July, August at all. Not in DC, not in France, not anywhere. But like, look at this spike. I'm like, somebody took a spike from September 12th. Then they erased the bottom half and they put the July stuff there. That's all. And then they stuck it on Twitter, knowing that the candy conspiracies and stuff would all jump on this. I'm like, this is verifiable. You can still go on there and look at this. Am I able to add images? I actually have these.
You know what else I've noticed too? I just started a new TikTok account, brand new, and the algorithm is pushing. And remember, Ellison, the Jews forced TikTok to sell so the Zionists could take it over. And now all of the most viral videos are Charlie Kirk conspiracy videos, or like kosher Christian, like disinfo conspiracies exploding all over TikTok.
Same with Twitter. Like, Candace kind of woke up late. You know, she was there with Charlie celebrating moving the embassy to Jerusalem, all that. She did she used to be a diehard Zionist Christian retard. And then she got red pilled too quickly, which is often you see this is the case where they just start believing any alternative ever, because she's not even sure the earth is round. And I think she believes it. I think every time she gets a new one from her tips and the people are just feeding her shit on her tips, she thinks it's real, because she's not a researcher and she's not smart. So she's just going to be like, oh, yeah. And she promoted the tunnel crap, the tactical gear guy. Eventually, I counted 28 days after he was dead. She finally said, okay, he was shot from the front, but by Tyler and not by that gun and not by this and not by that. She has to admit that he's shot from the front because there's video of the back and there's no entry wound. And there's no video of a bullet leaving or anything either. So finally, she at least admits he was shot from the front, but nothing else. And now she's back on blaming TPUSA itself. And, you know, people blamed his wife. I don't like his wife. She had nothing to do with him getting killed, man, in front of her kids. Come on. It was Tyler Robinson shot him. He's on film with a fucking gun.
No, dude, the Mossad he was turning against him, bro. You're covering it up, Ryan. I'm joking. I got to put my foot down, all right? You got paid $7,000 to say this.
Ever said or did was Zionist.
Yeah.
He's like, well, and he said to Tucker, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, Charlie Kirk's a con man and he tells you what you want to hear. But everything he ever said publicly was Zionist. And he never rejected donation from Jewish donors. They reduced donations. He never said, no, I'm not taking your money. I'm turning a new leaf. He never did that. He had $40 million from Zionist donors. And they all point to Shillman as, well, Shillman took his $2 million away. No, he didn't. Shillman went from 2 million to 1 million, which is not uncommon that he would give 2 million during the election year and only 1 million after. They always give more when there's a presidential election than not. And it's whatever, man. Like,
well, if they wanted him to cancel, they were mad because they wanted him to cancel Tucker, but then he dies, he gets taken out, and then Tucker's hosting his show. He's speaking at the TPUSA event. He's headlining the Am Fest. He's so much for getting rid of Charlie so he can get rid of Tucker, and then now Nick's exploded more than ever after Charlie's gone. So like, great master plan, Mossad.
Yeah, Pete. Yeah, he goes in Patrick Ben David and then Tucker Carlson and so on, and has this. I call it idiot ping pong, like Fuentes and Candace Owens. Nick is correct more than her. I mean, she's going to lose bad when Macron's wife, who had 3 children and is a woman, is done suing her. She's going to lose a lot of money. And I started thinking maybe Candace is just pretending to be crazy so she can get out of that lawsuit. I don't know. She said that all these tech giants are a bunch of atheists that were secretly satanic and what is other stuff. It's hard to know whether it's sarcasm or stupidity with her, but she was saying like some of these people might be hybrid robots. She went on and on. She's like, I just read this book. And people are like, oh, that's sarcasm. I'm like, no, man, she's talking about it for like 20 minutes. That's what she thought.
I was wondering. I saw that clip and I was wondering.
You got to fucking clean this up. She's lost it. She's lost the plot completely.
I was wondering about that because I saw that clip. I was like, is she being serious here, calling them all reptilians? Because I wouldn't doubt it. She says the earth is flat. She, says they're Frankists, they're Khazarians, they're synagogue of Satan, a number of so many different things.
She's like,
Bridget Macron is a man.
Talk to the moon? Sure. Like, why are you throwing in the moon landing stuff? Regardless of what your opinion is about that, that most people believe we went to the moon. Why would you even randomly talk about that as you're talking about Charlie Kirk and other things? Like, it's as if she's almost paid to swallow them up and then attach it to the goofiest stuff you can imagine to discredit because what happened
and she's like the biggest show on the internet, biggest podcast, biggest YouTube channel. Yeah. And she's allowed to stay on.
Not Norman Finkelstein, not Grant Smith, not any of the people that have been put in 20, 30 years into this. No, it's Candace Owens who just woke up to it yesterday, becomes the queen of anti-Zionism. And then immediately she's like denying the moon landing and having Charlie Kirk conspiracies and saying just the dumbest shit in the world. Like, oh, Macron's wife's a man. Like I think she got played. I think she came out as anti-Zionist because she saw enough dead children that shook her. And she's like, we can't act like this. Good for her. And so they're like, oh, let's just discredit her. So all they do is just give her enough shit sandwiches until she took a bite out of one of them, which started with the Macron thing. And then it was just downhill from there. They realized this woman has no filter and we can just say the goofiest, dumbest shit in the world and she will promote it and discredit herself. So she's out. And they're going to get Tucker with the same thing. They're going to keep handing him poop sandwiches until he eats one and discredits himself.
Yeah, demon sandwiches. Have you seen them all pushing? All like Joe Rogan and Alex Jones and Tucker, they're all pushing like it's demonic, it's satanic. We're up against Satanists and they're worshiping the devil and there's demons. UFOs are demons everywhere. What's your take on all of this satanic panic, everything's demonic kind of rhetoric that we're inundated with?
It's demonic with the lowercase d as far as like how sick it is, but you're dealing with Jews. You're not dealing with devil worshippers. You're dealing with Likud. You're dealing with Chabad. You're dealing with all these little Jewish factions that do mock human sacrifice and stuff. Like the people in the settlements, they're like, God gave me this land. And they don't worship or like knowingly worship the devil. They worship the Jewish God, which I'd argue is no different from the devil. They worship God. It's Judaism that's the problem. And they're like, oh no, religion is just some unequivocal good. It's the no true Scotsman thing. And so all these people, they're just practicing it the wrong way, except for me. Like, well, the majority of the people of the faith are practicing it the wrong way. Maybe the faith isn't good. There's no commandment against slavery. There's no, like, King David has endless numbers of concubines, so sex slavery is okay back then. It's a disgusting religion, and its byproduct was predictable. It's not like, they're actually secretly atheists and they're just using Judaism as a land grab. Like, even
No, they really worship Moloch. They're atheist Moloch
you still have
worshipers.
to have. Well, Solomon built a temple to Moloch. Like, that doesn't help their argument either. They would have to use that mythology to get some portion of the people who believe in it become settlers, whatever. Like, it is a evil creation. You can't just say openly, I want to steal this land and enrich myself. You need some moral facade, and the moral facade is religion. You got these Christian Zionists are like, but that's their land. God gave it to them. Like, so you can just shoot a baby. Yeah, you can shoot a baby. Those babies should just move somewhere else. That's what they say.
Those are terrorist babies.
Palestinians just go somewhere else. Just leave.
They'll grow up. They'll grow up and be
and
snakes.
everything you've ever made and earned, and just leave and go somewhere else. Disgusting.
All right, let's get.
Live in Jordan.
I'm going to click the power chats. There's probably going to be some questions or comments for you. So let's get these started. Oh.
Names sent $5 on Rumble. Michael Tracy has made pretty convincing arguments breaking apart the trafficking blackmail claims. Not to defend Epstein, but Virginia Gifford is a serial fabricator and Maria Farmer is a schizo.
I agree with Maria Farmer. She schizo lied about me.
Jen sent $10.
Thank you, Jen.
I don't. Do we
Jen
get to
sent
answer?
$10.
Hold on. Yeah, they're all going to play through, and then we'll
right, let's
go back one by one. Yeah.
Zornderidum sent $5. Great discussion, guys. My first girlfriend was Japanese.
I'm going to Japan one day. It's on my bucket list for sushi.
Miragrist sent $5 on Rumble. Ryan's work is incomparable.
He's a OG. He's one of the top OGs for sure.
Avebaria sent
Thank you.
$40. Happy to catch a live stream again finally. And with a great guest. Big love and respect to you both, XO Ava.
Thank you, Ava Boria.
Watch the Collapse podcast sent $5 on Rumble. I was watching Dawson 9/11 docs when I was like 12 in 2008. Great redux, Ryan. Now redo spinning squirrels.
Yeah, me too. You too, back in the day. War by Deception. Yeah, I watched that too.
Before Empire. Spinning squirrels. Yeah. There's going to be a squirrel thing coming out soon.
Oh, okay. Wasn't one of those. Hold on. Let me stop this. And oh shoot. Oh, this is how I stop it. What was the one that we wanted to address? Oh yeah, Michael Tracy and Maria Farmer. You're gonna say something about her.
And there's one before that too that went by, was only on for like a second. Did you see it?
Let me go to it. Dude, Maria Farmer, so I clipped her talking about like they were Jewish supremacists and they were anti-Gentile. And then she was like, that Adam Green's an anti-Semite and he took me out of context. And it was like, that was a lie. It was perfect context in her words. So that was annoying. And then she threw me under the bus and blocked me. Girlfriend Japanese, Ryan's work is incomparable.
There was something before the Michael one.
Big Mama 14 sent $50.
Big Mama, thank you, Big Mama.
Love this convo. My hubby went to Japan recently and he loved it. I hope to go myself. Ryan is brilliant. Glad to hear you guys pick each other's brains.
Yep, for sure. I think Ryan had me on last stream we did, but we've been doing streams.
Japan is full.
Dude, you don't want tourists? You don't want some gringo money to come and eat the sushi and experience the culture? I got to go experience it before the Christians take over and bring multicultural Jesus.
They got kicked out, and my girl's in now, and she's like, first thing she did, she reinstituted this old law. Now you can get paid $340 if you tell on an illegal immigrant. So the public is now being paid to tattle on illegals. She reneged on like 20,000 Chinese visas, business visas. She just kicked them all out. Based.
The new political leader, you said, did that? Or your wife?
The new prime minister.
Okay.
Akaichi, she's from Nara, and she's the only thing she hates more than foreigners is gays.
I think I saw that the new prime minister of Japan is like super based and doing
And
some.
that's the other thing.
Very
all these
right
Christian
wing, right?
countries have legalized gay marriage. It's illegal in Japan. It's illegal in Korea. It's illegal in China. Like these atheistic countries don't allow gay marriage.
Yeah, that's the antidote. That's the trump card to own all those Christian arguments about how you can't have a civilized culture, you can't have a society without Jesus.
And I think Korea
you can't have
bans
morals.
porn and Japan pixelizes it, but you can do whatever in the United States. You can do
Mhm.
whatever in Europe too. They have furry porn and whatever. Like it's disgusting.
Yep.
Japan has that in cartoons, but at least there's not real people being involved.
Yeah.
Whatever. So what
Not
was
as
the
bad.
first question? The Big Mama, that was just a comment, and then they had Tracy, and then what else?
Introducing me to Adam's show. Oh wait, hold on. No, I don't know. I don't think that was it.
All right, so Maria and Virginia was what the question was on. So
Virginia's the one that died, or was that Maria that died? What is it?
Brother
No,
BD
Virginia's-
sent $5 on Rumble. New Japan Prime Minister is Shindo. She is a former heavy metal drum emoji drummer and was interviewed on Baby Metal's podcast.
yeah, she's got a antique car in a museum in Nara too. She's pretty cool. Like, and she's hired. Her cabinet is based as hell. Japan is back because the Christian guy wanted to import 500,000 Indians, 500,000 Bajeets. That would have destroyed the country. It's like, no, we will poop in the toilets.
Have you seen that clip I have of E. Michael Jones where he was like, I talked to a Japanese woman and she said, like, we don't want to adopt Christianity because then the Jews will take over our culture. It's crazy that he admitted to that they are aware
That's
like
exactly
that.
what happens. Like the kind of Christian you're going to end up with is the one that serves those that own Western media.
Yeah, they'll be Zionists. That'll be a bunch of Zionists. China's having some Zionist churches they're having to like try to shut down and that are growing over there. I remember there was a show I watched, Shogun, and the whole plot was like the Catholic Church and the Protestants were there fighting, and like some of the leaders in Japan were converting to Christianity and trying to impose Christianity. They got to nip that shit in the bud.
I think that's pretty much what happened. Like, not everyone associates Yeshiva's shittiness with him being Christian, but some of them have figured it out, and it was like, nah.
We do.
They got rid of this Christian cult leader in Japan and Korea also. So Asia's on a comeback because they realize like they did the same thing to Europe. I mean, they just opened the borders, they start free hotels, all that crap. Japan got mad when they had 47 migrants. Not 4,000, not like 47. They got angry. But when they started saying we're going to have work visas for 500,000 Indians, that's Tokyo's bad enough. Like I'll walk down, I'll see like 4 or 5 foreigners, and I'm like, what happened? What happened to my country? I haven't seen a phobic gaijin because it's rarely people like myself. It's always these like weebs with these turtle backpacks and anime shirts and stuff. I'm like, get the fuck out. Like, you fetishized weirdo.
You're the tallest and most masculine man in all of Japan. Just joking, dude. This is Street Fighter 2. Me and Ryan, Street Fighter 2.
Huh?
Ken in Ryu, Street Fighter 2. That's our show today. Yeah, Ryan's a big guy. He did karate too. We met in L.A. a couple years ago. Big dude.
I used to teach jiu-jitsu. I was big when I'm from like 19 to 29. I was pretty jacked, but there's some big dudes in Japan. Like Asians are tough, especially Mongolians. But like you look at like even like the Muay Thai fighters, the little dudes in Thailand, they will fuck you up. They will break your leg, these kicks and stuff. And then Japan with the judo and the sumo wrestlers are huge. You're talking about 500-pound people and stuff. And the Mongolians are just kind of got to get headbutt through a wall. The Koreans are tall. The Korean height average in the U.S. is only like a half inch apart for the men.
Proper pagan, proper non-Christian eugenics going on there with their creating their Yao Mings. Yao Ming just doesn't get created by accident. They know what they're doing over there.
That was eugenics. They took 2 basketball players.
I know.
I don't know if you.
I'm serious. I know. Yeah.
And bred them together and made a super player.
Yeah.
That was in China.
They know the way.
It was great. I remember Shaq saying the guy's too tall. I'm like, oh, you did not just say that. That's what everybody said about Shaq.
Mm-hmm.
Shaquille's great.
Yep.
You ever seen Shaquille O'Neal story of when he goes to the zoo and looks at the gorillas?
Yeah, I remember Owen Benjamin.
Turn around
I heard about that from Owen Benjamin, yeah. Because he made a cartoon or a joke about it and then got canceled got banned off of Rockfin, and it was a whole big
Rockfin banning people?
Yeah, he banned him for calling Shaq a gorilla.
Well, I mean, you look at him.
Yeah.
Even the gorillas got confused. There was some albino gorilla that like went and hit the wall. It was like, he said it was like 9 feet tall. I doubt it was that big, but it was like trying to crack the glass and get at him.
A gorilla at the San Diego Zoo just broke the glass the other day.
Really?
I saw that actually in the news. Yeah, charged it and broke it.
From which side?
All right.
Oh, so Virginia,
good question.
I think,
good question.
So I don't want to forget this question. So a lot of these girls that got abused, I give them a lot of slack because so many people have like betrayed, like got their trust and betrayed it over and over again, that they're like get a little schizo, for lack of a better word. They're like, I trust this person. They said this and da, 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 da. I think in her case, like she got canceled out of a pretty big payday from victims because of the comment about Zionist. And so, of course, she's going to be like, that's out of context, because that is exactly why she got canceled.
Well, I think that was in actually the
liar.
context of that was she was having a lawsuit with Dershowitz too, so, and he was calling her an anti-Semite. So, but still, I got thrown under the bus when it's like, you're the one that said those things, not me. And they were true and important. Yeah.
I wish I would have told them, don't talk to anybody till all your lawsuits are over. That's what I would have said. But because that is the thing, like if you say anything about the ones who are actually in power, you're going to get canceled. You're not going to get your payments, whatever.
I should know this, but are they both dead? Because didn't Maria have a brain cancer?
She's alive.
Okay. And Virginia committed suicide.
Virginia killed herself. And she did.
You believe that's true, right?
And fully, while people are like, was she murdered? Because, it's Epstein. But no, she killed herself. Let me explain her situation, because people are calling her a liar and this and that, because they're like, oh, she lied about a car accident. Da, 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 da. That's not what happened. She was in a bus hit a car that she was in. That did happen. And then she said from the hospital, like, I've got days to live. And people were like, the accident wasn't that bad. True, the accident wasn't that bad. She wasn't saying her days to live were because of the accident. She was saying she had days to live because her kidneys were shot. Her kidneys were shot because she'd been self-medicating with pain pills for decades. It's only like because there was an accident, serendipitously, she got checked at the hospital, because they make you do that. They do toxology and stuff to make sure you're not drinking or whatever when you get in a car accident. And by accident, they figured out, hey, your kidneys are about to fail, not from the impact of the bus, but you have failing kidneys. And in finding that out, she really wanted to see her children. It was close to Easter. Her husband had a restraining order on her. Of course, she had put a restraining order on him prior to that. But she wasn't allowed to see her own children on Easter. And she was like, I'm going to die. Like, they just told me I have days to live. And the online community, they took it to mean like, oh, the accident crushed her kidneys or something. She never said the accident caused it. She's saying, I figured this out when I went to the hospital, and I went to the hospital because of the accident. But anytime you have a problem that has like A, B, C, layers, like you have to retain this data, this and that.
Little nuance.
Brains, like they can't understand accident, hospital, pill abuse, discovered. That's too many data points. Like, he wasn't caused by the bus. And even though I just said 4 times, it wasn't caused by the bus. The accident is just why she went to the hospital. That she was at the hospital for any reason at all, and they checked her blood, is how they found out her kidneys were in the shape they were in. And she had a whole empty bottle of painkillers by her bed that she swallowed. She put up a suicide message on Instagram, like she did kill herself. But she wasn't lying about any of it. Her kidneys were on the brink. And, she was taking Xanax and stuff when she was a teenager, when she was living with Epstein. She had been self-medicating for a while, which, look, when you've been serial raped since you were 7 years old, You do drugs. A lot of people would. And that's all that was. The other thing she gets accused of lying about is Dershowitz, because she dropped her lawsuit with Dershowitz. And the sentence that they go is this is how bad they cherry pick. They find this phrase between her and her lawyer where it says, "Don't forget Dershowitz, you probably knew him." And she's like, "Yeah," or something. Like, oh, let's just add him into there. What they don't have is all the context before that. The you and you probably knew him is the plural you, like y'all probably knew him, because what they were talking about is the people that were at the house abusing girls, plural, not just her. She sued those who were famous enough for her to know who they were. Many of the men she got farmed out to, they're not like Bill Gates or Prince Andrew. It's just some weird scientist guy. She doesn't know who he is. Like, she had to discover who Glenn Dubin was. These idiots used their real name, and she remembered it because he had a pregnant wife at the time, and he had to go she massaged Ava Dubin while she was pregnant, which is memorable. It's a weird thing to do. And then fucked her husband right there in the living room on a rug at the hotel. And the communications between the Dubins and Epstein are clear. They were also there when Bill Gates was with Dubin's daughter. Ava used to date Epstein. Blah, blah, blah. There's no way a 15-year-old ought to know who some unfamous hedge fund manager even is. You know, most financial people wouldn't know who Glenn Dubin is. She knew.
And wasn't this the 90s too, like before internet and social media, Google and stuff?
It was 2000s, but it was still. I understand, like, girls that say Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, some super famous name, is like, sure, right. But when they're talking about like Marvin Minsky or Glenn Dubin, or these are not famous people. They did meet them. And that story is corroborated, like with the Dubins, for example. I'm doing all this off the top of my head, but I believe there was a chef, I think his name is Nathaniel or something, whatever. There was a chef who saw a 15-year-old Swedish girl, and she was like shaking like a leaf at the bar. And Ava Dubin and Maxwell come, they hear their high heels click-clocking down the hall. And the girl just like freezes and can't talk. She was crying. And Maxwell says to him, "She's working for us tonight. She's coming into town. She's working for us tonight." And they, jerk her away, and off she goes. What the fuck is a 15-year-old doing work? What kind of work for you tonight, you and Ava Dubin? But like, he's saying, the Dubins are there. They're friends with the Epstein. They took a 15-year-old into town to do work. Okay. So you start, these stories overlap, and it shows that if Virginia was just saying this on her own, it's like, well, you got an abuse victim. You can't really believe what they say. Da, da, da. But her story overlaps with other stories of adults and employees and things that also show these people here at this time doing commercial sex work. Da, 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 da. So that's all that was. And so she dropped the lawsuit on Dershowitz because she just won $16 million from Prince Andrew. And how you can't really prove, it's just like my word versus their word type of situation. No one filmed it or whatever. So what are you going to do? She decided to let it go. He's 81, 1 foot in the grave. Who gives a fuck? She was working on her own marriage. She was working on her charities and stuff. And it wasn't about herself. It was about other girls when Dershowitz was in the house. Now, apparently the accusation is Dershowitz got massages from somebody at Les Wexner's property in Ohio, one of his houses. And Dershowitz himself said that he did get a massage, but he kept his underwear on. And I remember that because we made fun of him for years, saying, well, I kept my underwear on. It's all this shit's been expunged. Later, he goes on another show and he said, I think it was Pierce Morgan or somebody. He's like, who was he? Or maybe it was Lex Freeman. We can figure it out. But he's like, I got a neck and shoulder rub. That was it. And my wife was there. And I'm like, that's weird. First, you said you're in your underwear, which is weird. Why did they have to give his lawyer a massage at all? I don't even like massages. Then why did you do it? He says he didn't like him. Then he's like, I don't even hug people. He did the Prince Andrew thing. I don't hug. I'm like, yes, you do. You do. He had photos of you doing it. He's lying. So I believe her in that Dershowitz was there and probably abused somebody else. But it wasn't her fight. These girls got huge payoffs from JP Morgan and Deutsche Bank. and a lot of them signed NDAs, and a lot of the conditions like, look, here's your money, shut up. Because all these hundreds of women are getting like $1,900,000 to $2 million each if you divide up that 150 million from one lawsuit. Anyway, and it's like, well, who are you trafficked to? You weren't all just trafficked to Epstein. They just say John Doe 11, John Doe. They won't say any of the names. But the fact that there's a bunch of John Does already means that there are names. And these women have been basically given hush money to shut up about it. And I imagine some of them probably been threatened. Epstein put Virginia Roberts a picture of her little brother on the desk. Like, we didn't say anything, just like, I know who he is and where he is. That's an implied threat, They did blackmail people. He knew multiple Israeli prime ministers. He knew multiple Israeli first billionaire donors. He gave money to Ehud Barak. That is a fact. He was on the board of trustees for the Wexner Foundation, which was set up by a Zionist Rabbi Herbert Friedman. That is a fact. He got money at Bear Stearns from the Bronfmans. That's a fact. The Bronfmans also financed the NXIVM cult. The Bronfmans sold a house to Robert Miller, who is now going to jail for raping high school girls for 20 years. That's a fact. So, like, there was a fucking pedophile network. There are a multitude of Johns involved in this ring. It does clearly tie to the Israeli state. But you'd need someone like me to sit down for like 8 or 9 hours and go through all the stuff with the notes and notebooks. I don't even memorize this stuff. Otherwise, it's just going to be Clinton, Trump, the shit everyone knows and everyone's heard. And I've had the client list. Here it is right here. I've had this out for a long time. There's another page. It's in pencil, so it doesn't show up as well. But that one. We've had the names. I put some of the prominent ones on a map sitting on my wall. Map keeps getting bigger and bigger. I'm not going to keep updating it, but it's like, it doesn't matter. I mean, Israel just blew up cities in front of the world, dropping bombs on apartments, blowing up children in a hospital, and that didn't move the needle. So you think a little rape's going to matter? They rape prisoners. It's on fucking film where they're taking hot metal and sticking it up the anus of Palestinian prisoners. They've amputated people's legs and they put them in diapers and watch them crawl around like worms and shit themselves. Sniper bullets are being pulled out of children's foreheads and stuff where they're just doming people. You've got dead, bodies and flesh hanging out of the rubble where they've just crushed people in their homes. They let a boy on fire from the inside out like a candle, poured gasoline down his throat and set him on fire. They pulled 2 boys who were handcuffed out of a grave where they were buried alive. It's the 2 kids. You can see them. They got these plastic cuffs on. They're screaming and crying, and the bulldozer just pushes them in a pit and puts dirt on them. And then the skeletons wearing their same red and green T-shirts were pulled out of this hole. And like, there's just no bottom. The shit they do. Mass grave of over 100 Palestinians was found like 6 days ago. Can you imagine a mass grave of over 100 Jews dead in a pit and that not being on the news? It wasn't on the news.
It's can imagine a pile of 100 shoes.
Oh yeah, 100 shoes maybe. Yeah, sure.
Dude, okay, Dawson, we heard all of your Qatari, Bollywood, blood libel propaganda. There's no kids been killed, bro. That's all fake CGI. Come on. No wonder nobody cares.
It's funny when they're like, oh, they teach them in school to hate the Israelis. They're like, you don't need to teach them.
They're going to get theirs when Jesus returns.
They hate Israelis because everyone there has had a relative murdered by Israelis. You don't need to brainwash them. The hate is very justified and real based on Israeli behavior. They teach Jews to hate Palestinians in school. That's true. That's in their like Sesame Street type programming. They make fun of murdering Christ. Of course, they think he's boiling in excrement and semen. Like these Christians like are licking the nutsack of Jews who think that your prominent figure, and if you're Catholic, it's God himself, is in hell boiling in poop and semen. you know, or if it's Son of God, if you're Protestant. So what? I mean, they think Jesus is being tortured to death. Tortured.
They're just blinded, Ryan. They're just blinded. It's God's plan. They're not supposed to.
They're like,
they're
well,
stumbling.
it says, if I bless Israel, it bless me. It's like, well, that's not what it says. But even
The Jews will believe one day if you love them enough as
right,
Christians.
Yeah. Just obey me now, and you'll have it good in your next life.
No, you just got to love the
good
Jews
man.
and just love their God so much that you make them envious, and ultimately one day, as long as they survive, one day they'll believe in Jesus when he returns after the Antichrist rules.
Right. Well, the Antichrist is Netanyahu. Napoleon was right when he said religion is a great thing for keeping poor people quiet.
Yeah.
You're getting fucked. You don't get a do-over. There ain't no afterlife. Like, you need to take care of your life right now. And they're just using you, and they make you complicit. So it doesn't matter. I mean, why live at all? If you have infinity in paradise, like, why even look both ways before you cross the street? Nothing matters. If you go to heaven, your life doesn't matter right now. What is 80 years compared to forever? Totally insignificant.
This life doesn't matter. All that matters is the Moshiach. Every knee will bow to Jesus. You're not trusting the plan hard
women
enough.
doing the mikvah. You know what that is? Where they strip them down naked and have them parade around before the rabbis. I'm like, I think the rabbis made that up.
Wait, mikvah is bathing. That's where they do their ritual bathing after their period to clear.
Yeah, but if a Christian
get rid of the impurity,
or whoever converts to Judaism, even as an adult or even as like a 12-year-old girl, they got to bathe in front of the rabbis. They get to watch.
I haven't heard of that.
Nude, and then go in the water butt naked.
They got their magnifying glass, like they're checking if it's kosher.
I guess both work.
I think it's buck naked.
Buck, yeah.
Yeah, but butt naked works too.
It's one of those things that seems like it would still make sense.
I have not heard that. Rabbis watch what did you say? The 12-year-old girls that convert to I don't know how many 12-year-olds are converting to Judaism.
If someone converts to Judaism, first of all, they won't admit that you're converting to Judaism. They say a lost soul of a Jew when it got stuck in a Gentile body.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So they'll have the woman stripped down nude, and the rabbis they got these like one-way mirrors. They got a room for this. These little perverts are probably jacking off, and they parade around the women regardless of how old they are. They could be a kid, they could be a grown woman, whatever, but they got to be naked and then walk into the water. They got to see everything. You got to turn.
Where did you hear this? I've never heard this before.
I know.
And the rabbis watch.
I know people who had to go through it in order to immigrate to Israel. You got through this whole process to convert to Judaism, and they got to do the mikvah even as an adult. And if you have kids, underage, doesn't matter.
Even the males. Naked. Do the men do it too?
I don't know. Probably. Gilad Osman can tell you a lot about it. It's like,
is he still doing stuff?
Definitely talk to you about it. She's a fan of yours.
Oh, cool.
Who had to do it. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Gilad isn't like doing interviews.
In Israel. Just don't. You could go anywhere in the world, and you went there.
A fan of mine wants to move to Israel.
No, she
did move to Israel,
and she did the mikvah and everything.
She converted to Judaism.
I'm like, if you're a fan of Adam Green and you know me, why the fuck are you converting to Judaism going to Israel?
In Israel,
she needed free healthcare.
She's my agent infiltrating, apparently.
Girls, man, they don't have agency.
Wow, that's a loss. That's an L. All right, I got to go get my girls ready for bed. I appreciate all the time, Ryan. I'm glad we did this again. We'll have to do another stream sometime in the future. I hope your eye hangs in there. I'll be watching your documentary on 9/11. I'll do a live stream of a lot of it, maybe a 2-part series.
You gotta see it. It's so much better than the first one. It's so good.
Cool.
RyanDawson.org, everyone. You can watch it for free.
Cool. Are you still doing A&C report too, or have you always had RyanDawson.org also?
The red map behind me is a big 9/11 map, and on the dancing Israelis and stuff, it just says them. Yeah, you know who
them boys.
The funny, them boys. The funniest thing about Kanye and all that was when they're like, "Who is they?" Who is they?
I love the video where he's like, "I'm not going to tell you what he was. He was Jewish right after that.
He's a
That
Jewish
was
doctor.
that was the highlight of Kanye.
That's another
right.
guy that got red pilled too fast, and just opened his mouth and ended up losing half his money and all his sponsorships. So, dude, you got to have some tact about these things.
He burnt out too quick.
For him to do is keep your money, keep your sponsors, and finance someone else who says things about Zionists secretly or whatever. That's what you should have done. Oh, well.
He burnt it all down. He went too hard. He burnt it at both ends and crashed out.
But that's Ye, he's gonna. That's his personality, which is admirable too. But you gotta take your losses. I mean, I did the same thing, but I didn't have as much to lose.
He also thinks he's a real Jew. He's not Jewish. He's Jew. Remember that?
Oh, I totally support the Black Hebrew Israelite thing. It's hilarious. Why not? Like any like, it's not real, but
I think Japanese are the true Jews.
Of the Hyksos Exodus as being the actual Exodus. Now, they would have been maybe half black. They're Egyptian from the Levant, but they probably had some Nubian wives, and there's probably some black in there. So I love that. Like any like that, I'm not going to argue with them. I'm not going to punch down or left or whatever, because any kind of inter-Jew conflict I support, because I think that whole religion's trash. Well, let them fight with each other.
It is funny seeing a black Hebrew Israelite and a white Hebrew Israelite fighting with Jews over who has the covenant and the birthright and who are the chosen people. It is kind of humorous.
I'm on Black Power. I'm on Team Black.
I'm on team. It's all fake and Jewish.
Well, yeah, I know, but anytime I see that, I'm like, I have the Jim Leahy thing. I used to fight with it, and now I'm like, nah, I'm gonna encourage it. Just because it doesn't matter.
I've noticed with some of your posts, you're encouraging some of that stuff. But anyway,
Gnosticism too. I'm like, people ask me like, no, I'm not Gnostic, but I feel like that is the devil. Like, as far as like, it's epitome of evil. Sure, it's an evil religion.
I agree.
And it's funny. Like, how can a Christian, like a serious one with a triple-digit IQ, read the Bible and not end up as a Marcion? If you're gonna believe it all. You can't.
I still think that's like a limited hangout, and it's better just to scrap it all the way. But even Christopher Hitchens says Marcion was the best Christian, or the one that got it most right, or something like that, just because he denied or he opposed the God of the Old Testament.
I'm just taking, like, from a practical point of view, it's better to just toss the whole thing and be a grown-up. Yeah. But psychologically, there are a lot of people that just have to have a religion. So if they need that psychological crutch to get through the day, whatever, then I want like the best version available.
Yeah, but Gnostic's not even like an actual religion. You can't make it through the day by being a Gnostic or by going to a Gnostic church or having a Gnostic community. That's why it's better just to scrap it all.
It depends. I don't think the Marcions, like the Valentinians, have a worldview, like a pursuit of knowledge that, rather than relying on prayer and intervention and stuff, their view is, no, wait, God gave you the tools in the beginning. He gave you knowledge. So all the what they'd say, the fruits or whatever, are already here. So this desk, this microphone, this screen, this was all built out of stuff that was on the earth from the beginning. Like when you were dropped in nature, when you were in the garden, those rocks, soil, trees, and everything, all we did was rearrange that stuff into this stuff. He gave us everything in the beginning. The only difference between this microphone and the stones and dirt on the ground is knowledge. If you have the right knowledge, you can make these kind of things. So everything was in the garden. And garden meaning like earth, I guess, like Mother Earth, like Native Americans would say. It's knowledge that allows you to reshape it into the wonderful things that we make out of technology. It's also knowledge that makes it shape into all the horrible things too, but they leave that out. But that is a philosophy, I guess, and would help people. They do believe in eternity, which helps people cope with death. They do believe in free will and all. So that helps people deal with, anti-determinist views and all. So I can see that religion having some oomph, but it just doesn't have the other cult-like qualities of the other faiths, which is why I think it's not as widespread. But I just think, like, if you're a Christian, and you're not going to let that go, then at least divorce it from Judaism to where you're like, no, they actually, whether it's the demiurge or the devil or whatever, because there's a bunch of different Gnostic sects. I think saying it's the devil is more useful than a lower God. I'm like, nah, go all the way. Like, it's evil. I think that's useful. Of course, like I agree with you, like in the ideal world, why don't you just admit it's mythology and
I just see it as a cope. I see it as like a cope, so it's like ultimately not good. It's still not facing reality.
Yeah, anything that's not based in reality in the long run is going to fail. But for me, in the middle of a genocide where I'm seeing dead children every day, it's like whatever short-term gain I can get to people to stop being Christian Zionists, even if I have to make them some other kind of idiot cult. I'll just take the small W and then focus on full conversion later. It's kind of like a process out of religion. Is they first they reform the religion, then they become like agnostic, and then eventually atheist. They don't really usually jump overnight. But I don't know. People can do what they want, but that's my strategy. Like I encourage the better versions of religion because it's easier to get that than it is to get somebody to admit it's just all crap.
Maybe. I think you can convince people of both. I think maybe it's easier to convince people that it's all crap than like the Gnostic
atheism. Because if I have a one-on-one with somebody, I can convince them it's all crap. But over Twitter, nah. It's way easier to get them to be Gnostic or
they're influenced by memes.
I like Taoism. I have no problem with Taoism, really. I feel like, okay, yeah, I get it. I don't really have a problem with like serious Buddhists, not the New Age hippie American kind, but like Zen Buddhists I've met in Japan and stuff. I'm like, all right, Shinto, no problem with that. Religion itself doesn't have to be the Judaic kind of conquest and killing and stuff. There are plenty of faiths that are like respectable, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, my big issue, maybe because I was raised Christian and it dominates our culture, but the Judeo ones, the Jewish ones, those are the ones that bother me the most.
Disgusting one, yeah, I know.
I'm not an expert though on if I was ruled by Hindus or Buddhists, totalitarian Buddhists, I'd have it. Yeah, I'd have problems with them too.
That is intrinsically racist. Like that. Okay. That religion's fucked. But
caste system,
Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, all the Judaic stuff, and Hinduism. But some of the other faiths, Sharonists and stuff, I'm fine. Mother Earth, I'm fine. Pantheist, fine. Pagans, I don't have a problem with those. Don't really exist anymore. But you can look at it and be like, yeah, well, at least they place value in virtuous things, courage, and like they have a system that encourages good behavior, whereas Judaism doesn't. It encourages
Odin all the way. Odin and Thor. Thor never told me that Jews were chosen by God. That's all that matters.
Well, I'll tell you this. Jesus was nailed to a piece of wood, and Thor wields a hammer.
So true. So true. I think I saw that on a meme once. Anyway, I got to run. I got to go get the girls ready for bed.
The Marvel Thor, and I like the Norse Thor. It's the most heavy metal religion there is. Gotta be. The Norse.
Heavy metal. You worship a Marvel comic book character. Anyway, I got to run.
Deity.
I got to run.
Named after Thor, which is right. It's Thor's day today, right?
It is.
In America, it's
in my time.
Here it's Friday. It's like you have 4 days of the week named after pagan gods. The point the Christian calendar, I'm like, okay, tell me that on Wednesday, Woden's Day, or Thursday, Thor's Day, Freya's Day. They don't know.
Sunday. Yep. Anyway, thanks for all the big donos tonight, guys. I hope you guys have a good Halloween and a good weekend. And I'm going to be working on the book and celebrating with the kids. Thank you for your time again, Dawson. We'll be in touch. And everybody, let me know what you think in the comments about the talk. And I will see you guys soon. Take care. Thank you, Dawson. F Israel, boycott Israel. Your website, your best website for people to find your work one more time?
RyanDawson.org.
RyanDawson.org. All right. Yep. Take care, everybody.